Let's try this again.
Y'all ready? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the New York born, Las Vegas made, always getting paid, with the Usain Bolt fast, the one to beat, but good luck with that. The man who never sleeps, and neither does his podcast. The notorious, the glorious, can do everything except Boris. Has the funniest jokes. Is always woke. The podcast GOAT. The man with the plan. AKA your host, Killer Cam. Now kick back in your seat and we welcome you to the podcast that never sleeps. Killer Cam. And witness greatness.
Greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast that never sleeps. I'm your host, Killer Cam, aka J-Boy. And today we have the incorrigible and the amazing, the wonderful Jared, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, there he is.
Oh,
There he is.
What
Welcome
a guy.
back.
What a guy.
Oh, my mic's off.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Yep. Yeah. You can't hear yourself?
No, I hear myself fine.
Okay, so you were just... Oh, it was an ode to last episode.
Yeah, we had a bad connection or something.
Hey, remember that thing I was telling you before about with your hand? Is that the case, or am I just blind?
This? When I did this?
No.
When I do these?
Putting your hand in front of the...
You like these?
That's not what I was talking about. But
Why
yeah,
aren't you
sure.
everyone should be talking about this.
Yes. We've all seen that at the Roxbury. So, you want to explain what we're doing for today's episode?
Yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff, but the reason I think you invited me here today
Yeah.
was because we're going to talk about time travel.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly right.
That's right. DeLoreans, 1.21 gigawatts,
Yeah, keep going.
wormholes,
Yeah, keep going.
CERN,
Don't stop.
believe in.
Yep.
You know, see what I did there?
I saw it. It's
But yeah, we're going to talk about the all-encompassing time travel.
yeah. And yeah, I'm very excited. Oh, by the way, I just realized I don't have the chat up, right? You don't see
Yeah.
the chat.
Well, we could always go back in time and turn the chat on
Yeah. Where does it say chat? It
if
says
we had
somewhere.
time travel. But yeah, that's
There
what I'm
she
most
is.
excited about. I know we have some other subjects we're going to get to, but it's just one of those things I love talking about.
Yeah, sorry. Technical problems. Just making sure we're good. Mr. Michael Domino, yes, time travel. And I do... Dude, where'd I put my spectacles? Here they are. So,
There we go.
ready for this?
Now
Jared,
he's
I got
ready.
you. Ready?
Can't talk time travel without specs.
No, you can't. Ready for this?
Yeah.
Is time travel possible? Two men on one podcast will decide if it is
And that will matter.
to no one in the entire fucking universe.
I don't know. I think we have a good chance of not only solving time travel, but building a time device on this episode.
Yeah. We have the parts.
Yeah.
It's weird that we decided to do the podcast instead of focusing our energy on building this elaborate.
Well, we love the audience. We're here for them.
We're here for
Let's
them.
be
That's what it
honest. We don't need a time device.
no, we don't.
We just want to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. We just want to talk about it. So I got a couple YouTube shorts that I put together for us for the audience, really, because we know everything there's to know about time travel. But here's the question. Question numero uno on everybody's skulls right now is, what is your time travel theory, Jared? Is it parallel universes? Is it predestination, where no matter what has happened, has already happened, so you can't go back in time and kill your parents or anything?
Okay.
That has already happened. It's predestination. Or do you believe that you can change the timeline, like Back to the Future, where you can go back and you won't create a branch timeline, you'll just fuck up your timeline?
Yeah, I mean, so I feel like just based on,
Research.
I mean, this is a subject I like to talk about. I like to hear what other people have to say about it. I like watching the videos and stuff.
Sure.
Whatever scientific research people have done about the subject, it seems to me that there are definitely multiple universes. The multiverse theory, I think that's, we're probably going to prove that thing is 100% true.
Okay.
But as it pertains to time travel, I think that the current state of affairs is the result of all time travel that will ever be invented, that has ever been invented, and that has ever been used. We're living in the result of that, meaning all things have already happened.
So predestination.
Sure.
So if I go back in time, if I build a time machine today,
yes,
and I go back in time, and I go kill Hitler, I never killed Hitler because it would have already happened. Or if I go back in time to kill somebody, I always was that person who killed him.
Yeah.
So if I go back in time to kill Lee Harvey Oswald, I was actually Jack Ruby. It was actually me, not Jack Ruby.
Right.
It was always me.
So those things already happened. If you were to go back in time and kill Jack Ruby, kill Oswald,
either one,
that would have shot. In your future timeline, you will have created a branch where you killed him. So that's branch timelines. That's if you change something, yeah.
Okay, so that's not predestination, because predestination is I always built that time machine. I always went back, and I always killed him.
Yeah,
that's predestination.
That's not the word I would use, but I do believe that. Yeah, so it all has happened. But if you decide to go back in time and in the past do something different,
that's branch timelines.
Then yes, now from here, this timeline still exists where Hitler did everything. So
that's like endgame logic. That's like that's like MCU time travel.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way. I don't remember agreeing with them on the way they did it in the movie, but if that's the way they did it,
so basically they say if you go back and you change anything,
that is a new,
even you going back,
future.
You're creating a new timeline. So now instead of this being your timeline, you went and did this. Now you have a brand new timeline that you're living on.
Yeah, your future is you going into the past. That is now your new future. And killing baby Hitler. Baby Hitler still did everything. He grew up and was Hitler and did everything he did up until the point. Then you go back in time, and once you kill him, we're still living in the timeline where everything was affected by Hitler. But
so you believe in parallel timelines?
Sure,
parallel timelines.
Yeah,
because I believe in predestination, where it already happened. If I go and I build a time machine and I go back in time, that always happened.
Agreed.
The timeline never changes.
Yeah.
No, you don't agree with that.
I do agree.
Because you believe if I build a time machine today and I go back in time and I change something, I'm on a new timeline.
Yes, but you still did build the time machine. You were always going to do it.
I'm saying there's a single timeline.
Oh no, yeah, I don't believe in one timeline.
Single timeline.
Yeah, no,
like Back to the Future, but not because they could change shit.
I think there's
not Back to the Future. No, not Back to the Future at all. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So like Primer. Have you seen Primer?
Nah.
So just where I don't know. I don't know what movies do that. No. But whatever you've done has been done, and you cannot change it.
I agree.
And so if they think Jack Ruby shot, it's me dressed as Jack Ruby or something. I always was the guy who did it.
Well, so I believe that this is the result of all time travel that's ever been done because we're living in this timeline, right? So whatever timeline changes were made, we are living in the result of those timeline changes because that's the timeline we're in. Now, if I decide to build a time machine tomorrow and go back in time and change something, if I decide to come back to the point before I leave, I can still live out this timeline the way it was. Right now, the person I killed in the past,
but that
timeline,
fact that you created the time machine and went back, now that is a new timeline, regardless.
No,
in your theory,
no.
Well, in the parallel universe theory.
No, well, I don't know why the two have anything to do with each other. So if you're in the present and you go back in time and kill someone, you've created a branch timeline.
Yes.
But if you were to travel then back to the point before you leave, you could still live out that same timeline.
That's a new timeline.
No, the new timeline is the future in which you went back in time and changed something.
And that happens, and that timeline goes out. Parallel timelines. Boom, boom, boom. And there's multiple. There's MCU.
I think it's unlimited. There's MCU. That's also multiverse theory.
So wait, so you think even every decision I make. So if I make a left instead of making a right, that's a new timeline. That's its own timeline.
Yeah. So it
Really?
not that you've created it. The timelines already exist. There's a timeline where you went straight, left, right. Yeah. There's a timeline where you killed Hitler. There's a timeline where you didn't. But I'm saying is if you want to manipulate time, everyone in this timeline is living in the result of all time travel that has ever. It's the craziest fucking subject of all time.
Can I tell you that Stephen Hawking doesn't believe that you can travel forward in time?
That's so weird because traveling forward is the easiest part.
Back in time.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Back is a little bit more difficult, but scientifically, I think
it's quite possible.
It doesn't break the laws of physics.
Let's see.
That's important.
Travel possible. We can definitely travel into the future by moving faster relative to everybody else. The tricky part comes if you want to go into the past. And that's really dangerous. It is so dangerous that Hawking was thinking to himself that there must be some law of physics we have yet to discover that prevents it. Because if you go back and prevent your parents from meeting each other, then you will never be born to go back in time to prevent your parents from meeting each other. So it might not be likely that we can do this. But there are equations in the general relativity that allow it. But a higher understanding of the universe might actually prevent it.
Huh. Yeah, that's funny. So he believes in... What?
No. I'm talking about...
He believes in time travel into the future, which we know is possible, right? Because we do it all the time. Astronauts, when they're traveling extremely fast in a rocket, they actually are aging slower than everybody else.
Yeah.
So we know time travel.
But that isn't time travel as much as... like time displacement or relativity, right?
Well, no, because when you're moving, seconds for you are different than seconds for people on Earth.
That's relativity, exactly.
Right.
That's not time travel.
It is. They're going
as much as it is relativity.
No, by going fast, the closer you get to the speed of light, the slower things are for you. So when he comes back to Earth,
correct,
the same amount of time has passed for both people.
Relative to
you're
them.
5 seconds older than I am.
Actually,
so he goes into the future.
I have a video sort of explaining this a little bit. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Time displacement. Yeah, but it is traveling to the future.
Sure. It's not this one, but let's just watch.
Hiding a time machine. In 2002, a French Catholic priest named Father Francois Brune wrote that a device called the Chronovisor was
this
held
is a
deep
great
in the archives
story.
of the Vatican.
Yeah, I know
this device, using crystal technology, was said to be able to pick up unscrambled electromagnetic radiation transmitted by past events, essentially allowing the user to see into the past. It was quickly confiscated and kept in the Vatican archives as the Pope deemed it dangerous, even though the team that invented the device, consisting of Pellegrino Ornetti, Nobel Prize winner Enrico Fermi, and NASA space program scientist Wernher von Braun, were able to produce photo evidence, supposedly witnessing the crucifixion of Christ.
Yeah,
they were
I've heard of
quickly shut down and branded as a hoax by the church. However, soon after, a law was passed in the Vatican stating that anyone who was caught using a time-manipulating device will be excommunicated from the church.
Fuck?
If the Chronovisor was just a hoax, why was this law passed?
It doesn't make sense.
Well, because that's blasphemous. You cannot look at time however you like, right? That's blasphemous. So you got to pass that law whether you've got a time machine or not.
Is that what the dealio
no,
is?
it's crazy.
Okay, yeah.
They actually have a rule against time viewing.
So the only reason you'd make up a fucking rule like that is if they knew that technology existed. Right?
You would think, because why would you even bring it up? It doesn't make any fucking sense to even talk about it. Now, if you think that this device is real, this is amazing. The church has the ability, if you were paying attention here, the church has the ability to look into the past.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And see it as images.
Yeah.
So from what point of view, I wonder, right?
It's like a television set, I think.
But from what point of view would it be? Not from somebody's eyes. Like,
no.
So you could just go into the space?
Yeah, I think you put in coordinates, maybe? Like, I want to see this.
So I got a couple things I want to mention, and I know I'm going to go off topic, so actually let me keep a few notes.
That's okay.
I want to mention horizons and what horizons are.
Okay.
Because they're fucking nuts. And I want to mention... So what was the thing you just said?
I don't know. I was asking about the Vatican machine.
Yes, the guy who had coordinates and
like what? Because that's true. If you have a time
view.
device, what are you looking through? Like how do? Yeah, it's not a satellite, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So I'll tell you a quick story. What does Kat say on the chat though for me, please?
Bird's eye view. Maybe.
Oh, maybe. So here to that point. So there was a gentleman, and there's a movie based roughly on it. The remote viewing guy.
Yeah.
Remember the movie with Aaron Eckhart?
Yeah.
Mr. Chin. So one of these gentlemen, and he was used by the CIA for remote viewing.
Yeah, this is 100% proven that this is
proven-
real. This happened.
Yep.
We
And
did this.
where I
real.
read this, I read the transcript of something I'm about to explain right now. And I read it on the CIA's website.
Right? It was all declassified from
Yep,
FOIA requests.
exactly right.
So this is real.
It's legitimate. So on the CIA website, I read, so there was an agent who thought this guy has to be making this up. Has to be nonsense. And so what he did is he wrote coordinates, and he wrote them down and put them in an envelope and gave the guy the envelope. He said, all right, go and remote view these coordinates, right? And it's so the coordinates have a time, a spatial date, right? A time and date and a spatial where it is, right?
They use latitude, longitude, I think. Yeah.
Latitude, longitude, and when it was, right?
Yeah, and a time period.
In a time period. So they're like, all right, guy, Mr. Cool Shit, check it out. What do we got?
Yeah.
And he's like, okay. I'm seeing weird structures. And he's like trying to explain it. And he's like, I'm seeing, I guess, maybe Egypt. Maybe they're
Is that
pyramids.
the mailman at your house?
Yeah.
He's
Banging
going
your
in.
wife.
He's
Yeah.
going in.
Yep. No, yeah. I knew it. That's the only reason the guy did it. To see if the mailman was
Son
banging
of
his
a
wife.
bitch.
Yeah. George, you piece of shit. No, so he's like, I see pyramids. I'm pretty sure they're pyramids. And he's like, all right, do you see people? What do you see? He's like, I'm not sure what they are. And he's like, what? What do you mean you're not sure what they are? And you can read this transcript. Like, it's so eerie. And he's like, what do you mean you're not sure what they are? And he's like, I guess they're people. They're very tall. And they're almost like shadows. Like, he's like, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time, like, seeing it and explaining it. And he's like, okay. He's like, but I'm talking to one of them because he could, like, sort of go back and, like, actually even, like, communicate.
Okay, so he could physically
Get in a space.
almost like, okay,
yeah.
so this could be kind of like, what is it when you leave your body and you go places?
Astral projection,
Okay, so
sure.
maybe that's how this would work.
100%, I think is what he was doing, astral projecting to that. I think he does that most of the time, but in this specific scenario, because of a single caveat, he was able to communicate.
So through the window.
Yeah, so he's talking, and he's like, I'm speaking to one of them, and they're sort of basically saying that they're waiting for their people to get back because they're going through like a famine right now, and they're waiting for their friends to return. And he said, it's been like a very long time, though. They're saying a very long time. And he's like, so where are you right now? He's like, I'm inside this structure that looked like a pyramid on the outside, but everything's very tall. He's like, the writing I'm not recognizing. And the CIA guy's just like, what the fuck? And he's like, what are the coordinates? What are they?
Kirk Douglas is here.
Yeah.
He's dressed like
he said,
Air Force.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he said, it's stupid. He's you did Planet of the Apes.
No, Stargate.
Kirk Douglas?
Kurt Douglas.
Kirk Douglas.
Kurt
Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Cool.
And
Yeah,
Kirk
yeah.
Douglas.
Okay, I'm like, what is he going? Planet of the Apes. That's the
Oh
only thing that
my
could make sense.
goodness.
Okay, Kurt Russell.
Oh
so,
wow, Planet of the Apes. That still works.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
go.
worked.
Yeah.
I had you, buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, but so they're like, where are these coordinates to? The guy asked, and he said, they're to Mars 1 billion years in the past.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, so what the fuck were you seeing? my
That's
guy?
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and pyramids make sense because it seems like all early civilizations, they kind of build structures.
Aliens built the pyramids.
Well, and
so-
pyramids are, I mean, they make sense, right? It's like tiers that go up to
Absolutely.
a point.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
Stargate.
just an easy thing to
Stargate.
build.
Stargate.
Very Stargate.
But
Yeah.
it does make sense. So I was watching something, and this is a little off topic, a little bit. So I want to mention Horizons too. Don't let me forget that. I wrote it down. I'll be good on that one. But so we mentioned Stargate and Horizons, and then I forgot my train of thought. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. This happens.
But time travel is...
Yeah, go on.
So time travel is obviously, according to the laws of physics, it is possible. We just don't know how to do
Pyramids.
it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of theories on how it would work, it sounds like.
Yeah.
I don't know, though.
I got a few more videos we can watch too.
Yeah, and we should do that. Maybe it'll give us more context to figure out.
I just want to mention one thing real quick. To something we'll get into probably on a later episode more in depth. But so there's these the Egyptians, right? They said that the nothing matches up. The times don't make sense. Right. And there's this guy who's an archaeologist, and he's looking at these beautiful works of art with it's like a jaguar, like, right? And it's carved out of this beautiful, it's carved perfectly out of stone. And you can even see with like when you turn it a certain way, when the light refracts off it, you could see like ribs. Okay. Like the way they created it is just brilliant. And then
this is a statue?
A statue.
Oh, cool. Nice.
A statue that's in like, Cairo or whatever. Yeah. It's in like a museum, whatever. And then you see these really just like, what would you call them? Just like rudimentary. Perfect. Thank you. Like carvings in it. And you have these amazing structure, like this amazing statue. Yeah. And then you have these rudimentary like carvings. So they're like, we think they found the structure.
Right.
They didn't
that
build
makes
them
way more sense.
because it makes way more sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's watch another video.
Yeah, you can see the fingerprints of like different eras on all of these structures.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
everywhere.
And it's crazy that they're basing the data on the writings as opposed to the like, wait, this doesn't make sense. They got this amazing rudimentary, writing on this crazy like technological marvel for the time. It just doesn't make sense, and we're basing it off. It's crazy. But all right, we have more vids.
Did you know that time traveling into the future is 100% possible? Let me explain. Let's say that
this is what you were talking about earlier.
Moving fast,
new rocket is able to travel at 90% the speed of light, or 270 million meters per second. And he has just had 2 new babies that are identical twins. Elon decides to run a little experiment. So he puts one of his babies on the rocket and launches it into space. The rocket travels in a straight line for 5 years before turning around and coming back. The entire time going max speed.
This is hypothetical.
Right, of
as
course.
the rocket lands, out walks a 10-year-old boy, as expected. However, his identical twin, who is grown up on Earth, is already 23 years old.
Yeah.
Sometimes the reality of physics.
How does that even make sense?
Even weirder.
So explain that.
Time is moving slower for him because he's moving so close to the speed of light. The closer you get to the speed of light, the slower time moves for you. If you're moving faster than the speed of light, it would look like everybody else was just like standing still for you.
So let me explain what a horizon is. Okay. For those who don't know. So it's sort of crazy. So the best way to explain it would be the surfer analogy. That's the best way I heard. They tell us that the speed of light, or light, is the fastest, thing in physics, right? Nothing moves faster than light. But there's sort of a caveat to that because there is something that moves faster, but not technically. So what it is, it's called a horizon. So what it is picture a surfer, right? And he's on a wave. So so relative to the wave, he's not really moving, but relative to the shore, he is, right? Okay. And so because he's just riding on the wave. Right. So what it is space is expanding. So when light is shooting through space, right, trying to get to, let's say, us. Yeah. When you have the space expanding between, faster than the light could get to its target, faster than the surfer could get to the shore, okay, then that's what you call a horizon. It's the only thing moving faster than light is the space in between it, right? Okay. Which is fucking just a crazy concept. Yeah. I know it's sort of off topic, but just so nuts.
Yeah, because there's no such thing as empty space, right?
No.
There's, yeah.
And it's expanding in between anyway. Fucking nuts.
It is pretty nuts.
But it's cool.
The way this works.
So explain. So I guess you already sort of did explain how this sort of works.
That's just how physics. I mean, E equals MC squared. I think that's really the gist of what Einstein was trying to say, or what people that are talking about time travel use this formula to explain. Is the faster you go, or the closer to the speed of light that you get, the slower time moves for you. And the same with black holes. I mean,
trippy.
Yeah, traveling close to a black hole in theory, you could move the other way. You could move backwards in time. So where everybody else would move faster than you were moving, or you could even come out of the black hole at a previous point in history.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all theoretical, right?
Sure.
If anyone was going to figure this shit out, it's going to be the guys at with the big like Hadron Collider. Yeah, those guys.
And shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they think this big breakthrough's going to come from.
Oh, for sure.
There's even been some. There was a guy that was online on like the Reddit community a few years back, who claimed to be a time traveler from the future. Yeah, and he explained that CERN is where time travel is invented.
So he's back, and he's made a few more predictions for 2023.
No way. That's funny.
For 2023 and further. So he said Trump is going to win president in 2024.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's from a different timeline. So, I mean, let's talk about that.
He claims he's from the year 2645 or something.
Okay.
So pretty far.
That's pretty far.
Real far. And
but some of his predictions didn't come true. And wouldn't that be based on, and he even said that there are multiple timelines and that when he comes out at a certain point, he doesn't know exactly which timeline he's coming out in. Isn't that kind of the gist of it? Because people told him, "Hey, your predictions were wrong. This didn't happen." And he said, "Well, did he say
he said this
happened in my timeline?" Yeah, he goes, "But in your timeline."
So he could say anything, and
exactly.
if it's wrong, it's whatever.
Which kind of sucks.
That sucks.
Yeah, but
did he get anything right? Because I was trying to research that, like dead on. That was like.
Not predictions, but I think some of the stuff about how he built his time machine and why he came back to a certain point. He said he came back to get certain hardware for an IBM computer that's not made anymore. And the reason that they used that is in the future, I guess there is some sort of hardware in those old file servers that they stopped using, these old IBM servers. And the software that the time machine runs on actually uses some of this old hardware.
Why would that even be the case?
Right. So I think it's like a post-apocalyptic type world that he comes from. So that's why it's so hard for them to get these types of materials.
It's like Terminator shit.
Exactly. That's why he came back. Yeah. Right. Because let's think about that. So the government develops time travel. What would they use it for? You can't just willy-nilly send people back. You can't change things either without knowing, that you could cause a major. The guy, you might disappear yourself. You could end your own existence by sending a soldier back, depending on how time travel works. Sure. So if the government did have it, would they even fucking use it? I know they would want to, but in what situation do you think it's okay?
It's necessary or when do you greenlight time travel?
Yeah, you're the general in charge of this project.
It's like, hey, I think we should go back and kill
we didn't
Osama
do it for 9/11.
Before 9/11.
What are we using it for?
Yeah, if we have it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, do you think we have the technology now? No.
Ooh, well, the Vatican had that. Do you believe in that viewing device?
I think so.
Okay, so if there's this time viewing device,
because that if they didn't make that law afterward, I'd be like,
yeah, that does kind of make
it, dude,
a little wacky.
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, well, okay,
guys, time displacement or time viewing things, they're bullshit. But by the way, if you use one. It's like, what?
Well, how do you think alien ships work? Right? They actually bend space-time. Yeah. So if we have these ships that we're working on, able to fly them and use them, we might have that technology.
You think we can? I don't know, because you were saying, I think reverse engineering those. Are we there yet? But you said that
they fly them around.
What's his name said
they can't build them, but they can use them. So they can fly around the ships that were recovered.
Some Independence,
but they can't make the fuel source.
By the way, Independence Day, how silly was that they just put the virus in on like an IBM
computer? That's the greatest. Yeah.
So funny.
I gave it a virus. I gave it a cold. Yeah. Yeah, it's so silly. Plus, back then, computers were not where they are today. The fact that he could fly into space without Wi-Fi or anything and connect remotely to a mothership using an operating system. Who knows what software they're running?
I never got how they connected.
They don't.
Like the internet, there's the fucking mothership
satellite
internet.
They're saying, I think, is somehow...
What?
I don't know. You'd have to plug in, I guess. Or how do alien
do they have a LAN?
Work?
Yeah.
As far as I know, it's all based on thought. So as long as you think about it getting a virus, it just gets...
That'd be the worst shit.
I know, like, terrible.
Yeah. You're like in a fight with your girlfriend. You're like, oh, she's being a bitch. And you think like, oh, if she was dead, I don't know. That I get more.
Yikes.
But like, I was trying to think of something not bad, but then it got worse and worse and worse.
I hope her dinner's so hot it burns the roof of her mouth.
Oh, the roof of my mouth.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit. Yeah, this is bad.
Call CERN. Yeah.
Call CERN.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know what you would greenlight time travel for then. Okay, end of the world. How about this? A meteor is about to crash into Earth.
Yeah.
And we didn't notice it in time. We only have a week, and that's not nearly enough time to solve for this.
So we go back in time to make sure.
Would you greenlight? The world's going to end anyway, right? So even if you screw shit up,
but is there a chance of like fucking everything up? And
always
that's why?
time to manipulation. Only when we're going into the past. You're going to the future. It's not as big of a deal.
Oh shit! What is this? What is it saying? I can't even read it.
Oh, it wants you to do an update, enter a password.
Oh, cool. This is fucking dope, bro. Sick timing, bro.
I know. See, if we could go back
in time, this never would have happened.
Yeah, this is a great subject for that kind of stuff.
That's so funny. So I don't. Yeah, I think maybe that remote viewing thing we might, the Vatican might have, but I want to just real quick say I totally disagree with. I think it's the predestination thing. I
don't get what you mean by predestination. Predestination, meaning like we have no free will. Everything's going to happen the way it's going to happen.
That's just the term for that type of time travel.
Oh, okay. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and what does that theory again say?
It's always happened. It always will happen. It's always been done. So if I invent one tomorrow and I go back, I always did that in the.
So the time machine, the book, that's the rules there.
So if there's some, yes. So exactly. So if there's some dope dude who he's this crazy mysterious billionaire, and he funds my some research for this.
Yep.
And then I build a time machine and I go back.
Yes.
I'm the fucking mysterious guy, but I've always been that mysterious guy.
Okay.
I went back in time and that was my past, my future self.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that guy was always me. That always happened. I can go back in time and try and kill him or kill someone else, and that no matter what, that already happened. I already did kill those people.
Okay.
That always had to happen.
Yeah.
There's been movies like that. What was the rules in fucking Ben and Jerry? What's it called? With Keanu Reeves and the fucking blonde guy. Excellent Adventure. Bill and Ted. Jesus
okay, Bill and Ted.
What was their time thing?
They had like Back to the Future rules. Like you could go back
and change shit for your timeline. Yeah, that's right.
You could pull people out of history and put them right
that's
back.
That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So not branch timelines, just one timeline. And if you
like
going
Back to the Future rules.
Back to the Future rules.
Yeah.
So Back to the Future was a bunch of bullshit.
I know, that's funny. It's a tough subject because it creates so many paradoxes that way when you're talking about a singular timeline.
I'm just kidding.
Just so many. The grandfather paradox is the one everyone talks about. Go back, kill your grandfather. Now you're never born.
Now you're never born. And
but
how
that
is that possible? Because you can't go back.
Right.
Exactly. What the guy was saying before.
It doesn't make sense to me.
If you're never born, you can never go back in time.
And how could?
Paradox. And that's why saying the predetermined, however you want to explain it to yourself, that's why that makes the most sense.
Yeah, but to me, it would be it makes sense that your future now would be going into the past, and doing something else. So now that's in the timeline for you. That's
different time.
Yeah,
different timeline now.
Yeah, and if you exactly, you would change history, or not. You would change the future for these people that you change the future for.
Sure.
But your timeline always happened the way it was going to happen. So you go back to your point where you left. Hitler still did Hitler stuff.
Yeah. So
that fucking Hitler.
This
you
is why
can't stop this guy from doing Hitler stuff.
Nonstop. Just Hitler being Hitler, man.
Would you greenlight time travel for Hitler?
Possibly, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we sort of came out on top, huh? But
I would be afraid of the
Jews
changes, right? Like,
up.
I don't know. I would be afraid
we would be saving the lives of millions of Jews.
How do you know? How do you know it doesn't? There's something 10 times worse.
And if we
happen.
fuck it up, we can go back and fix it, right?
Can you?
Because now we never have the parts to do it. I mean, that's the paradox with the.
That's what I mean.
Branches.
So if you're, exactly. So if you can go back and kill Hitler and then come back.
Real quick, I know the chat has so much to say.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you help me read some of this shit?
Let's see.
Because we don't have the beautiful Princess
Miss Michael Domino said
producer.
yes, and she says that she misses being here with us, and that all of this is very interesting.
We miss you as well so much.
And we can still see and hear you, which is always good.
That's good.
Chase says so. Basically, if time travel is possible, then it's already happened. Yeah, I agree with that Chase.
No, that's my thing.
No, that's mine too. But you just don't believe
You
that.
think branch timelines.
Right.
Okay.
But it's still the result of all time travel.
You're sort of doing an amalgamy of two different ones.
To
But
me,
no,
it's
you're
the
not.
same.
Yours
No, yeah.
is multiple universes.
Yeah.
That's your thing.
There's multiple
That's what you
universes.
believe.
I'm saying that we're living in the result of all time travel that has already occurred.
See, but that's not multiple universes. That's not parallel universes. That's the predetermined theory.
Anyone who would go back into the past, though, and change something, our history is never going to change. It's all predetermined. It's already happened. You can't change this timeline. Now, the other timeline where Hitler was killed, that is
People are living
always
that
been
timeline.
its
That's
timeline.
multiple timelines.
Exactly. That's always been its timeline.
So
That's always
yes,
happened.
but you saying you can't change this timeline?
Not by going
is-
into the
is
past.
Odd. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
If you just the way to put it would be, if you go into it back in time, you create a branch timeline.
Well, do you? Or is that branch timeline already the way it was supposed to be? And
That's
that
what
timeline
I
is
believe,
living.
Is that there is no branch timeline? You
No, that's-
already created what was meant to be, and that always happened, and it never cannot happen because it always.
But
happened.
we're talking now if you introduce time travel.
Period.
Okay.
Period.
So you've introduced time travel.
Yes. No matter what has happened has happened.
Agreed. Yeah. But now
No,
once you go back in
you
time,
don't believe
yes, I
that.
do.
No.
Because you can't change anything. So that inherently, that is exactly what I'm saying. You cannot change
No. I can.
your timeline
I
by going
can.
in the past.
But the effects of my changes
Yes.
are already being seen.
Yes, I agree with that too.
You don't though.
No,
because
so
you believe if
can't
go back,
change the past. But I'm saying if time travel is invented next week, right? This is it. Whatever they do with the time machine, it's not going to change anything that's happened in our timeline. It's already happened. Everything's happened. He invented time travel at that specific time always.
No, you believe that if he goes and creates a time machine and goes and does anything, he just creates a branch timeline.
It's not one or the other. They're the same theory, right? So in this reality, time travel is invented today, let's say.
Yes.
It was always going to be invented today.
Yes.
Now, he can travel into the future with this time travel device. It doesn't change our timeline because it's already all
would
happened.
change the timeline.
By going into the future.
Yeah, he would. He would.
That's what I'm trying to say is we're the result of all time travel that's already happened.
So
now,
you're mixing two theories together.
I don't believe I am.
You for sure
Everything
are.
is so you've have multiple timelines, multiple universes.
Yeah.
In this timeline
Any
over here,
change made creates a new timeline.
does it though? That's my question. So I'm not saying I know the answer to this. I'm saying maybe the timeline where you
You're
go back and
positing-
change was always that way. You came from my timeline and killed Hitler. That's the future of this
you
timeline.
can go to other timelines?
No, I'm saying by you going back and killing Hitler in the past.
Yeah.
This timeline where Hitler was never rose to
problem.
power,
Yeah.
that always happened in that timeline. That was how
That
it was supposed to
timeline.
be.
Sure.
So you traveling to the past in my timeline always happened. And you killing Hitler and preventing him from becoming the leader of the Germans also always happened. But here, in this timeline. See what I'm saying? So it all already happened.
do.
And but you cannot change a timeline by going into that timeline's past because that is now your future. I hope the audience is enjoying that.
Yeah, I
It's a lot.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a lot to think about, but it's fun. And if
So,
anyone has any ideas about this.
Please read some of these comments.
So we have Predestination is me fated to meet you guys. That's a good one.
Wait, who said that? Say again?
Yeah, Princess. She also brought up the Philadelphia experiment.
What is that?
You don't know about the Philadelphia experiment?
What is that?
It was where the military actually tried to create cloaking on their on a boat. I think it was World War II time. You could correct me on that if I'm wrong. But they were trying to create a cloaking device, make their ships invisible. In doing so, the ship not only became invisible, it ended up in a different harbor miles away.
I do remember
with
that.
the crew fused into the side of the ship, body parts like sticking out of the walls and stuff. Yeah, this is a conspiracy theory. We don't have any proof of it actually happening, but there's a lot of people that talk about it. Some people that have come forward saying that they were a part of this experiment, or that they knew about it. So who knows? But this is an actual experiment where we somehow teleported from one place to another. We created teleportation that day, apparently. That's the theory. But yeah, that's crazy.
And what else? What is Chase saying here? I see him.
How's it possible to travel back in time? I can see how you can travel to the future with the whole travel at the speed of light thing.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
That's true, Chase. Traveling back in time seems to be extremely difficult. What it looks like you have to do is either have a black hole.
But see, I don't see that as traveling back in time because you can't go kill Hitler when you travel next to a black hole.
So yeah, no, you're supposed to be able to, right? So they're saying, scientifically, if you travel near a certain black hole there's a certain route you would have to take, I guess is what they say, but you can go in at one point and exit at another.
Oh, wormhole. Yeah.
Right.
Wormhole. Yeah.
Well, so that's another one. They're two different things.
Well, because what just the black hole thing is
the proximity to the black hole.
Right. Because time would be slower, right? Around when you're going around a black hole.
Well, no, because time isn't like a
relative
constant thing, right? Yeah. So what they think is if you get close to a certain black hole, for you could actually come back out at a different point in space time because space time is being folded
through. That's like
that's a wormhole.
Shit.
It's two different things, though. The wormhole is a direct route from one point to another.
That's Dune and Interstellar.
Yeah, so if you knew, if you could create a wormhole, or if you knew where a wormhole's exit was, you could use it for coming out.
In Interstellar, he went in the Tesseract thing, right?
I don't remember.
And that's where he was able to move the sand and shit, and move the watch, and show his daughter, hey, fucking go to the place.
Yeah, he was in the fourth dimension, I think, at that time.
The Tesseract, they call it. Yeah.
Okay, so he was actually in the fourth dimension. Yeah. The black hole theory and the wormhole theories are two different things. One is saying that proximity to a black hole can slow time, or even because time's being folded inside of that black hole, that you could actually come out at a different point. If you were just by proximity, you can't go in it. Wormholes are an actual tear in space-time that has an entrance and an exit, and they're constant. This exit is always here, this entrance is always here, but the points in time are different. So even though they both exist currently, by going in on one side and coming in at the other, you would actually come out at whatever point in space-time that it is in, right? So two different things, but that's the only way that I can.
Wormholes are a trip.
No one really knows how going into the past would work, but wormholes are definitely the prevailing theory.
Yeah,
is time travel
possible? I do want to get to our new segment.
Definitely travel into the future.
But let's.
Is the Vatican?
I think I have one more video.
Proof that time travel is real.
Yeah.
God dang it!
Is it one of those fail videos?
Were you able to read that at all?
No, I saw what happened
travel is real.
Let's do this for the audience.
Are they trying to say that this guy saved his own life?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I don't think that's the case.
Look,
but who the fuck is that guy, and why
how did he know?
Yeah,
look at that. That would have killed him.
That would have killed him.
Yeah,
or at least fucked him up.
He taps him on the shoulder to turn around and look.
Yeah.
Proof that time
3-4 seconds before the truck's even there.
Yeah. Like what?
Is he just that guy that taps you on the shoulder and keeps walking and it just happened to work out? That would be too coincidental.
That is too coincidental.
Look, whoa.
Like by inch. If
the guy even kind of looks like him.
That's the crazy thing. When you see a better quality video, I can speak, I swear. You can tell for sure, these are two different human beings. But it's just crazy. Because even if it's not this dude fucking
he's a guardian
saving
angel
himself,
or
what the fuck is happening? Yeah, regardless what's happening. But ladies and gentlemen, you don't know what time it is. And we'll get to more of the chat in just a moment. But it is time for the news.
Yeah. This is such a cool graphic. It's time for the news.
Well, the graphic's over, huh?
But the song's good.
The song's really good. Let's keep the song going. So, let me connect to my
correspondent in the field.
That's what I was just gonna say. That's so funny. So, let's see here.
We're getting a word from our correspondent out on the field.
Yes. So, Les, are you there? Les, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here. How's it going?
Our correspondent from the field, a news correspondent. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Always a pleasure, sir. So what do you have for us this evening, Les?
Well, I was going to talk a little bit about the Solomon Pena, this nut who's trying to kill the opposition party when he lost an election, but I thought I would talk about something else.
Okay.
If that's okay. I don't know if you heard about this guy, Pena.
Oh, yeah.
You heard about him?
I heard about him.
Oh,
Yeah.
Crazy.
But what were you thinking?
But
what were you thinking instead?
yeah, I think so. George Washington had said that he didn't believe in political parties.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that, but he thought that if you had political parties over time, people would do work of the party and not of the country.
Of the country, yeah. Yeah, of course.
And I think he's right.
Agreed.
So I agree with that. But here's the interesting thing I thought I wanted to share with you today. Well, let me ask it as a question. What do you think the number one political party preference is in the United States today?
Ooh, independent.
Yeah, I'd say absolutely independent.
Isn't that bizarre? It is independent.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
So historically, Democrats held a 3 to 5 point lead in party affiliation. So about 31% Democratic, about 28% Republican in general. Goes up and down a little bit.
Sure.
But the country is about 41% independent now.
That's so crazy. How does that? Yeah.
Which I think kind of represents where we're going. I think are people with the current options in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always been a registered independent, so it's heartening to me.
Yeah.
But
do you think we're going to go the way of like the UK or something where we have like 17 political parties?
So I think the problem, I mean, there's a lot of power brokers at work here, so I don't think we'd get there. And the problem with the number of political parties is that, let's say you have 5 political parties, that means 21% of the country would determine the next president, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like that either.
That's a yikes.
Oh, yeah.
So I think 2, maybe 3. I mean, maybe it's time for a third party choice. I don't know that Bernie Sanders is the choice, but maybe is. But but the idea that so many people and interestingly, the number of people who moved from their current party affiliation to independent is predominantly Republican.
Yeah, which is funny. And you know what's odd is that don't independents have to run under a Democratic ticket?
No, but they usually work with them in the Congress, right? They caucus with them.
Okay.
Because in general, their ideas are more closely related. But that doesn't mean there's always going to be that way.
I thought they had to run under like with the DNC. It just isn't that why like Bernie got screwed over? He got like muscled out, right? Because he didn't get the votes. Hillary got votes in lieu of him because didn't he have to run under like the DNC?
Well, again, I think that was kind of a conflict of the same voters and the choice between 2 candidates.
Just having a similar caucus. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay.
Right.
All right, my mistake. I thought for some reason they had to be under the same ticket.
So I thought I'd share just as kind of an interesting note here. I don't know if you guys know who Will Rogers is, but he's a famous American humorist. He was from Oklahoma. He died back in 30. Yeah, but he died back in 35. Sure. This is a charity, the Will Rogers charity.
Okay, that's right. But
yeah, but he was famous. He had a lot of famous sayings. I'll tell you a few. But one is that I am not part of any organized political party. I'm a Democrat.
That's funny.
That's pretty good.
So I thought, and one other one, and I think it'll be maybe the end, maybe one more, is that if pro is the opposite of con, what is the opposite of Congress?
Progress. That's a good one.
That's very clever.
Yeah.
Very clever.
That reminds me of that joke, politics, like the etymology of poly, many ticks, blood-sucking insects.
Yeah, he told me that years ago.
There you go.
Yeah.
And the last one, maybe not political, is he said that I want to die like my grandfather, who died peacefully in his sleep, not screaming like the other passengers in the car.
That's horrible. That's horrible. Oh, that's good though.
Oh man. Yeah, he sounds like a blast.
Fucked up.
Yeah, that's pretty wrong.
That's so fast.
Anyhow, that's really all I had for today.
That's great.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, that's more than enough. That's so perfect. I appreciate your time, and you are the man. Thank you so very much, sir.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
Talk to you next time. Thanks.
Yep.
Now for weather.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Now for weather. Yeah. So funny. That's
interesting.
Hilarious.
Wow, that many people independent.
Yeah,
Well, that might be a sign of something good to come. I would love to see less.
A lot of Republicans
right.
going, and yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think people are kind of annoyed at the choices. I think there's been so much mistrust sown amongst both parties now that everybody's just fucking throwing their hands up.
It's sort of like what Les said on last week's episode was the raccoon face eating party. The woman who voted for that got her face eaten by a raccoon. She's upset. It's if you sow so much doubt and you tell people your vote doesn't matter because it's all rigged and this and that, and then you're gonna be like, you're gonna go campaign for votes after that. Like, wait, that's antithetical to everything you just told people for the past 18 months, whatever. So it's so strange. But
I did see on the chat here, Tina says, I thought predestination was a God doctrine. No, I learned about it in my philosophy class, but can't remember too much about it. Actually, philosophy of religion class. So, I know what she's talking about. Two different
let's say
things.
predetermination. I think maybe that's the term. Maybe I'm confusing the terms. Because predetermination makes a little more sense.
Okay. Right? Yeah, well, I get it. Everything has already been done. Does that mean we have no free will?
No. It's just as far as time travel goes.
Oh,
everything is as it is.
Oh, so you believe? So you don't believe that everything is already done?
I do.
Oh, so do I. Okay, so then
but you don't believe that.
I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Because you believe if I go back in time right now, I create a different timeline.
No, I never said. I said I don't know if you create a timeline where Hitler's dead as a child might have always existed that way. That's what I'm saying. Is that everything's already done. Yeah. It's already from now until the end of time. It's written. It is all happening the way it's going to happen. It is what it is. That's what I'm saying. No matter what timeline you're in. If you're in a timeline where Hitler was killed by a time traveler, that was always going to happen. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah. So, free will, though. So if you believe, which you do, that everything is written as it is.
Yeah. No.
Do you not believe in free will?
Just when it comes to time travel.
Okay. But time travel aside, do you believe that everything is already written?
No.
Okay, so you believe that it's all chaos and every second we're making changes that affect the future and make it different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that.
Really?
Yeah, I think everything has already happened.
You think every choice in my life you've
already made? Yeah.
It's already made.
Yeah. You just, from your perspective, you're living it currently. But if you had a different perspective, you would see everything that you were going to do for the rest of your life. And it would all play out the way it was going to play out. You cannot change that. I think the best way to describe it for me would be like when you look at the stars. A lot of people love this analogy or love this little fact. When you look up at a star, the star you're looking at, that's actually the light from the star millions of years ago, depending on how far away it is, right? So we're actually seeing the stars past, right? We're seeing its history by the time it gets to us.
But we're seeing stars that are long dead.
Yeah. And what's happened to it since then already did happen. But from our perspective, we're still seeing it as a living bright star. Yeah. Right? So take that as your life or your future. It's already all written. From your perspective, you're just seeing it in the present. You can't see from the end of it. If you could step out and have a different point of view, you could see everything you were ever going to do for the rest of your life because it's all already happened. The universe has been born.
You believe
and
in
died.
Predestination and predetermination. You believe that there is no free will.
I see. That was my question. I'm not saying I believe that.
You did say that.
No, I'm saying everything's already been done. Does that mean we have no free will? Is my question. No, is it the same? That's my question. You believe it's the same. That if everything's already written, that you didn't have anything to do with that, you didn't make those choices, it was all already done, or it's all already done based on the choices that you're going to make. They're still your choices.
I think the universe is pure chaos.
Okay.
And we are making choices in the time we are making them. And if you want to do the star analogy or something, say if somebody could view the future or something, I think
you could change it.
I think it is something that you can view my future.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't know if you could even view the future. I think you could view the past because the future. So
no, I think you could definitely view the future.
Depending on your perspective. See the future because I don't think the future is written. Right.
That's what I'm asking. You don't think it's written? I think it is. I think everything's written, but you saying it's not. It's being written.
The future is written. At every moment we're writing.
Yeah, but that's just from our perspective, from our point of view, right?
So whose point of view are we talking about?
Exactly. Like what? So we only exist in these 3 dimensions. Maybe this fourth dimension being time, but that doesn't mean there's only 4. So if you sat from another point of view,
time the fourth dimension, they're so different.
Okay, then don't call it a dimension. I'm saying we live in this 3-dimensional space, and all we can do is perceive the current time that we're experiencing here now.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that there's not other points of view. There's not other dimensions that can see further down the line than we can. Same with people that make predictions, or the Mothman that knew that the bridge was going to break. They can sit. They're sitting from a different view where they can see a little bit farther down the road, I think is the way they put it, right?
So, but check it out. What if the Mothman never went and told, assuming this is true or any of it's true, he never went and told this person this and this person this and this person? Would everything have played out the same, or could he have prevented it? Did he want to prevent it, or did he want it to happen, or make sure it happened, or had to ensure that it happened?
What's the Mothman? What was the Mothman's
goal?
I think. Well, okay, so
because
going back to the Mothman,
the fucking soul, right? He didn't say one fucking person.
No, I think. I guess maybe in the moment.
Wake up, number 30.
Yeah, see that, but that was the movie. We don't know if that happened.
That's not even Mothman. That was her having her own fucking little dreamy dream.
Right. So they did say they saw the Mothman before Chernobyl. The Mothman showed up before Chernobyl.
I heard that. I heard there's a picture where you could sort of see.
So is he there because he wants to
Does he
see
just show up before fucking crazy shit, and sometimes he'll talk to people, or is he just?
I don't know.
What's the chat saying? What do we got? What do we got in the chat?
Chase Mack, even if it's already written, you choose your fate. It knows what choices you will make. You will make decisions. Time knows what you choose. I agree with that, Chase. Yes, 100%. Me and Chase usually land on the same ideas.
In the same
Yeah. So that's what he says, and that's kind of maybe that's a better way of saying it. If you weren't 100% sure of what I was trying to say earlier, is everything is written. Yeah. Right? Fate is fate. It's going to happen. But the choices you make are part of that fate. It knows the choices that you're going to make. Does that mean you didn't have a choice? No. You still made the choices. But a little further down the road,
but that
we
is
know how it's going to end.
Free will. Because the choices, even if you have to choose ketchup or mustard.
Right.
But you were always going to choose mustard. And it's always going to happen no matter what. So you don't really have a choice. There is no free will. And that sucks.
Maybe not, or maybe just it's free will and the choices that we're going to make. That is what leads to the future that was always going to happen.
I think we live in a chaotic universe, and you know what I think either helps or hurts my theory. I'm introducing it right now.
Okay.
You know what tachyons are? Mm-hmm. So they're a neuron, whatever they are, an atom. What are they?
Tachyons are
an atom, right? Or
not an atom. It's a combination of atoms, right? It's a
but yeah, what is that called?
Molecule.
It's a molecule. Yeah. It's a molecule that can move forward and backward in time. Tachyons, right?
Yeah, that's right. And those are the result of a nuclear explosion, right?
So you need, I think, radiation for it, right? Yeah, you need radiation for them. And tachyons, they move forward and backward in time.
So do protons.
So yeah, we literally have evidence of molecules being able to go the fourth dimension, whatever you want to call it, this boundary that we call time, and they're able to move forward and backward as we perceive it, right?
Yeah.
And time again it's relative. It's to your perception. Just like I don't see going around the black hole as you going backward in time. You're not going backward in time. Just time is moving different relative to the people on Earth, right?
Well, if you come out at a different point in time.
Well, if you're going through the black hole, that's a whole different, that's the wormhole type thing, right? Saying the black hole is like a wormhole where you can go through and come out at different times.
The proximity to the black hole is supposed to be able, you can run the clock backwards or you can run the clock forwards. I think even in Interstellar, he goes near that black hole to go back to a point where he could still see his kids alive.
Yeah. So no, he's just going slower, so they're not.
No, he needs to get time back.
Yeah, but he's not gaining time.
Yeah,
he's just making sure that.
Well, gaining time
was going before
in quotes.
He's just making sure that now when they're going 1,000 miles an hour,
no, because he still has to go home. He still has to take the
and
journey
then he can
back
go
home.
Yeah, but he took that time to slow because it would have taken. They would have been 110 years old or would have died if he didn't go around the black hole.
I don't know.
Because he went around the black hole. They're only 78.
No, but
right?
no. Say they still would have. By the time he got back to Earth, they still would have been long gone because the trip itself would have been longer than they had.
That's why
living.
he goes around the black hole,
right, to gain extra time.
But he's not gaining time.
He is. He's slowing.
He's
for him,
slowing
no,
him,
I don't.
so relative to
I would watch
him,
the movie
right?
again, but that's not even what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's not. The point is, the two ways that Neil deGrasse Tyson, I think, is who I was watching talk about it, is proximity to a black hole or a wormhole. Two different things.
Yeah.
But
because they are two different things.
yeah,
Because one is
exactly.
time
But it
relative
is
to you.
He is saying though
The
you
other
would be
is
moving
coming out.
back. Not it's not just slower time for you. You can come out in another point in history.
No. That's
in a
wormhole.
previous point.
That's wormhole.
Yeah, but I'm saying they think because time is being folded inside of a black hole, that by getting close enough to it, you can run the clock backwards and then come back out of it years prior to when you entered it. That's what I'm trying to say. You're still coming out of different, but we can take the black hole completely out of the conversation and we can just talk about wormholes if that's easier for you. That's not relative. You're entering it at one point in time and you're exiting it at a different point in time.
Sure.
Yeah. So either way, tachyon is a hypothetical particle faster than light. Okay. It's a particle. That's what we were thinking of. Yeah, because I think it's protons too. They can travel back in time. They did experiments where they would monitor protons moving through space. And when they're not monitoring the protons, they act a certain way. But once they're being monitored, they actually go back in time to change the way that they move to be the way that they are when they're monitored because they act differently.
Sure. So we have a caller. Chase, you on the line?
Yes, sir. Hello.
How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, Chase.
Doing pretty good. I'm glad to be on the show.
Absolutely.
Nice.
So you had your opinion on this time travel stuff. So do you think everything is predetermined and what has happened, and no matter what, if I think I want to choose mustard over mayo today, I always chose mustard, and that will always be the case.
No, I agree with Jared. Like, I see exactly what Jared is saying. If you were to look at, like, you can see the timeline from you to death and see all the decisions you make, it'll always be those decisions in your timeline because that's what you chose in that timeline. So even though it's pre-written, that's what you choose. It's only pre-written based off what you choose, not based off what time wants.
Yes.
Okay, so there is free will.
Yes.
So, but what he also believes...
Yeah, so free will.
What he also believes, though, is that if you were to build a time machine right now and go back in time and I say kill Hitler, in my timeline right now, everything stays the same. Nothing changes for us. But in another time, now you've created a new branch timeline where Hitler never rose to power. You believe that's the case? There's a new timeline? Or do you believe it affects...
See, that's the one that I really... have to think long and hard on because to be honest, I think the possibility of multiple universes, it's like, I think that could be a thing. Yeah. And then there's multiple timelines because those timelines are in their own universe. But then I think, well, you could also go into like a wormhole into your own timeline from one point to another. So I think you could do both. I think you could do both. I think you can select your own timeline with a wormhole, in your own, and then we got to go to a different timeline. Kind of like Rick and Morty with the portal gun.
Yeah, I don't think you can jump.
You can choose a different universe or your own timeline.
Yeah, I don't think you can jump timeline to timeline. I think you're in your timeline, but I also think that it's the predetermined or whatever you want to say. What I did and what I think happened, or what I did. If I killed Hitler this timeline, I always killed Hitler. Or because Hitler did exist, I never killed Hitler. Even if I build a time machine today, right now, and I go and try and kill him, I didn't kill him. I never could kill him. I never would kill him because he's not dead right now in our timeline today. That's what I believe. So
what would happen? So you get there to Hitler's house.
I get shot. I get shot by a Nazi.
Okay.
Something.
So then you put on a bulletproof vest and you go back.
I get blown up by a grenade. Yeah.
Okay, so then you go back and you come
So
to
you
a
think
different
time is
entrance
preventing
where
you
nobody's
from
around because you did the research.
But I think no. As soon as I go and I get shot, I don't have a chance to put on bulletproof vest. I'm fucking dead. That's my body, and I'm dead now.
Okay, that's interesting.
So you think it's impossible, like
to change?
You're saying like pre-written time will make sure no matter what you can't change it.
Yeah, I think as far as time
That's just
travel,
a paradox.
Yeah, I think because of the grandfather paradox, I think that's the compelling evidence.
So
for me.
so now try and open your mind a little bit to what I was trying to say, where because that to me seems crazy that the universe itself would work against you to prevent you from making changes. If now you had the ability to go through time,
it's that it's already happened. It's already happened. So if you build the time machine and go back, you always built the time machine and go back. It's not time saying, well, now you're going to step on a grenade. Well, now you're going to do this. No, it's just because Hitler isn't dead,
I see what you're
couldn't
saying.
win.
Hitler died. So if you make a time machine and go back, that doesn't make a difference because in your timeline, Hitler's still dead.
Hitler died when he died, as I was taught in my fucking history books. Yeah.
But now you have a time machine and you can go and make changes. You're saying that the universe would stop you from making those changes.
So if I go and try and kill Hitler, I don't make it, but I do go and I trip over Mussolini's coat, and that's how he runs into Hitler, and that's how I hook them up, and that's how they became homies and worked on World War II together. Like when I went back, it changed something, but it's shit we already knew that happened. Like Mussolini.
If something is preventing you from changing time, then I just think
I don't think there's anything preventing you from changing time. I think let's forget the Hitler thing. Let's do something that we can like affect. So let's say I went back in time and I went to I wanted a PlayStation 5.
Okay.
So I went back in time and I stole $500 and I bought myself a PlayStation 5. I was always going to have that PlayStation 5. I was always going to build that time machine. I was always going to go steal $500, and that $500 was never going to be in that person's pocket the day after I took it. That person was never going to have that $500. I always was going to.
The way I see it would be now your future is you going into the past and stealing $500.
That is my present.
I think you guys
when you're doing it, yeah.
Oh.
But you can still steal it, just like you could still kill Hitler.
Then you would never have.
Sorry, Chase. Go ahead.
I never would have what?
No, that kind of I don't understand.
It's paradoxical.
What you mean by that.
That's why.
Yeah, it's paradoxical. Exactly.
Yeah. So
I don't understand that.
So I'll try to explain it a little better. It's sort of repetitive, but everything in our timeline that I perceive right now.
Mm-hmm.
So even if I introduce the ability to time travel into my existence right now, my timeline right now, it still would be the same outcome. Everything would look the same. If I go and I become, I look up, I invest in stocks and I become a millionaire, I was always going to become that millionaire by going back in time and investing in those stocks. That is always going to happen. Nobody could affect that from happening. That was going to happen no matter what. I was always going to build that time machine. And I was always going to go back and invest in that stock.
So then when you go back to the point where you left.
Travel back in time.
Yeah, I did. I had to travel back in time to invest in those stocks.
Yeah. So, but when you get back to the point where you left, you think now you're going to be rich. Your house is going to look different when you get back because you've changed it.
I will go back in time and I put money on stocks. I'm not going back to the future, no pun intended.
No, but when you get back
I'm
to your
living out that life.
What
where
was
I'm a
your
billionaire now?
So, but what happens to your past self? You're gonna kill him and take over?
No,
or?
There's no past self. Me, that same guy. It's one timeline.
Okay.
That guy.
Yeah.
Lived out.
Yeah, like he's not going back to the future. He's staying where he is.
But if you go back, there's another you.
Nope, that was always me. That loop went from me going to building the time machine to me going back in time and doing that.
You being there to be able to invest in stocks, you would have to still be there.
Because I built the time machine in the future is the only reason why I was there.
No.
And that's always going to be the case.
That's not the case because you had to get to a point to build that time machine. You needed to exist in that
all
up to
happened.
that point.
Yep, and that happened.
So you go back to where you still exist.
It's impossible to travel back in time.
It's not. It's only paradoxical if it's one if time exists in one linear fashion, which there's no way.
Yeah.
But That's the only way that it's a paradox. In the case where you can create a branch timeline, or that there are already branch timelines, and when you travel back and make that change,
there's three theories, right? There's the predetermined that, like I'm saying, there's the multiple timeline theory, and there's the Back to the Future one where you change your one timeline. There's one timeline, and you can affect it. And it's not predetermined. You can go back and you can shoot Biff, and now when you go back to the future,
in Back to the Future, you could go to both timelines, though, right?
No,
you could.
Nope.
Yeah, you could.
No.
Yeah. So in Back to the Future 2,
you could never kill yourself.
Yeah, you would never be able to kill yourself in the past before you make the time machine.
But that's the thing. Remember, he was disappearing. He was literally killing himself because they weren't getting together.
Right, but I'm saying that there still were.
So his family was disappearing off the photo.
In Back to the Future 2.
That's one timeline. That's one timeline.
But so in Back to the Future 2, the almanac came from the future.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So they get the almanac, they go back to the past.
Yeah.
Right? So now if they were to go back to that same future point where the almanac was, it's the future where Biff is famous and rich. Right? So the timeline has changed.
Everything's changing, yeah.
But if they go back to the point before that almanac is introduced,
then
and stop him from getting it,
then they change that single timeline.
Right, exactly. But at some point, you have a branch timeline. You can either do this or do this, and there's that nexus point from where whatever happened, creating a separate
Doc explained
timeline.
it well. Remember, he did this is your timeline as you know it, but now because you went back,
right,
it's a new timeline.
Exactly. So it branches into another separate timeline.
No.
The future that you were from is now gone.
No, not a loop. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. Not a new timeline.
So by changing something in the past, they were able to change the future. They created a different timeline that was not the same as the one they knew.
Chase predetermination, single timeline that you can affect, or multiple parallel universes. What do you think?
I think it's got to be parallel universe. I think it's impossible to travel backwards in time.
Just in general, like you believe with Stephen Hawking, you cannot go back in time no matter what. And there's something in physics that we just haven't even understood yet or comprehended that does not allow us to go backward in time.
Yeah, no, the laws of the universe, even the ones we don't understand and don't know, no matter what, there is nothing that will allow us to go back.
That's exactly what Stephen Hawking thinks. So I love that you have a third opinion. Okay.
But we can view the past. We know that.
We don't know that.
So instead
we don't know that.
We do know that based on just the star analogy.
That's not viewing the past. That's relativity.
Yeah. So from where we stand,
just light. That's
but that's what I was trying to say earlier.
But that's just relativity.
It's different perspectives. From where we sit, the star, we're seeing its past. Now, if you're sitting where the star is, you're seeing its present.
We're just getting the light late.
But that's exactly what it is. It's the light. It's the speed of light.
The
it's
star
light traveling
isn't still alive,
to us.
though.
That's the whole point of relativity.
No, relative to where the star is dead, period.
Yeah, I know. But we're seeing it alive.
We're not seeing
because
it alive.
of where we are, because of our perspective. We're seeing the star alive.
No, we're seeing the light is getting to us.
Yes. So we look up. There's nothing. It's not a hole in space. There's a star there.
Yes.
Instead of a empty space.
No, there's the light that is coming to us because we haven't seen the star die yet.
Right. So we're seeing its past.
We're not seeing its past.
Yes, we are.
I mean, that's
based
a
on
very
perspective.
silly way to explain it or put
that's
it.
what it is.
We're not seeing it's the star's past.
That's what viewing time is. It's based on perspective. So from where we are, we're
like
seeing
me
its
looking
past.
and seeing you as a baby.
Okay, I'll give you a different example then. Okay, so you're walking down a street and you're looking straight ahead. A car is behind you going 80 miles an hour. From where I'm sitting, I know you're about to get hit by this car. But from your perspective, you have no idea. I'm seeing your future. I know what's going to happen.
This is all relativity.
Sure. Yes. I never said it wasn't. I'm saying viewing different points in time is obviously possible. We can do that with the stars. We can see what the star looked like before it died.
That's not different points
because of
in
where
time,
we are.
Though.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying
you
time
just
viewing.
Said it's different points in time.
My question was, time viewing we know is possible, right?
Yeah.
That was the question. So we know viewing different points in time is possible because we can view a star because of where we are, our perspective. We can see that the star lived. We know where it was.
Chase, what are you thinking?
We know what it looked like, but it's not even there anymore.
It's just you're just getting the picture late. You know, you're not back in time. Nothing.
Yeah,
exactly. No, I'm not saying you're traveling through time. Yes, you are seeing its past.
Nothing about traveling through time.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm saying, can we view time Can we view the past? Can we view the future?
I don't know.
Based on seeing a star that's not actually there because of where we are, because of our perspective
it is
to
there.
it.
It's just moving through space.
Right, but we can see
I see what
it's
you're saying,
past.
like from
That's what I'm
present
saying.
time, viewing the past somehow.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't do anything. You're not in it.
You can't affect it. Yeah.
Just
We're
like
not
watching.
traveling through time. We're just viewing it. And like
But that's
Cameron
not-
thought, there's the Vatican has a time viewing device. So
Yeah, it may.
I'm asking, do you think viewing the past, if you don't think you can travel there,
Possibly.
is viewing the past possible?
Possibly, yeah.
Based on, you know.
But you said we
Based
know
on this-
that
yes,
you can.
We
exactly.
know.
Just
As far as
describe.
I'm concerned, that shows that we
that's
can
not
do
proven.
it
That's
based
not
on your
proven fact.
perspective, based on where you sit relative to what you're trying to see the past of or the future of. I'm saying
So-
it is possible.
Yeah, you're just explaining relativity. Even your analogy of you seeing me on the bike, you can see more of the picture,
Right.
Just because you're standing further back.
Yeah.
So relative to your vision, and
I'm
what you're
seeing your
you see
future.
more, but you're not seeing my future.
No, not yet. But I know
You're
what's going to
seeing-
happen
you're-
to
you
you
just
before
see
you
a-
do.
you just see more
because
than
of
I
my
can.
perspective. Yes.
And just like
Correct.
a satellite sees more than you can.
Correct.
So they're not seeing you're not seeing my future, and they're not seeing your future. No, that you're just you have a bigger
Well, that's a
picture.
tough. That's
It's
a tougher.
relative.
That's a tougher one to talk about because even though we know what the future for you is, I don't see it happen before it happens. With a star, I'm actually seeing what it looked like before it died, based on where I am, based on my perspective. So I'm viewing this star's past. Sure. I'm not using a machine to do it. I'm not doing special
Chase,
magic.
What do you think?
But I can see the past.
And then I'll let you go get back to watching the show. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking no, because it's not you're watching the star. Yeah, you're watching it before it died. It's dead.
Yeah,
you're
right.
Still
It's
watching.
dead.
There's no
Period.
actual star there.
Period.
The star is actually
Yes.
not even there.
There's no star
But
there.
I see
you
it.
see what was there.
Exactly.
Yes.
I see its past. I see the star's past.
But-
Saying it's past is a funny way to phrase it.
Yeah, but that's
Not
what it
seeing the
is.
star's
Yeah,
I'm seeing the
it's
star
like
before it's
the
dead.
light is finally
Like
getting
you're
to us.
with it. You're watching it with
Yeah.
it. Like be there.
But that's the
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
is I'm talking about perspective, being able to view time, not be in the place where it is, not actually go through time.
Yeah.
I want to be able to view time. I want to see the past. If I'm looking at a star that doesn't even exist anymore, but I can see that it's still there, I'm viewing that star's past. If I were to go directly to where that star is, there would nothing would be there. Then that would be its present. It's present. It's gone.
How is that
but from
any
Earth,
different?
I see its
if I
past.
send you a long like radio transmission,
Uh-huh.
let's say, and it's a long drawn out transmission, right? And it takes a while to get to you.
Even this
And-
call, I'm sorry to interrupt, Chase, but just even this phone call, people are hearing it a few seconds later. We're not in the future. You're just getting the signal a
Yeah.
little bit late. That's all. You're just getting the signal a little
That's
bit
what
late.
I'm saying. So if I have if I give you a long,
It's not even close to what
signal,
I'm talking about.
That's exactly.
Once
No,
I,
to
if
time
I
viewing.
die, I stop sending that signal.
Yeah.
You're still viewing the signal that I sent out until you don't.
He's
but
listening to
The
it
only
in
way
his
that
time.
would
time
work,
and I
Chase,
stop
is if
sending the signal. You're not in the past. You're not viewing the past. You're just receiving something late.
But no, actually, so let's take it a step further. So let's say Cameron and I are talking to each other on radios, right? Now you're 1,000 light years away from us, Chase, but you can pick up the radio waves as they travel. So 1,000 years from now, you'll hear Cameron say, "Hey, Jared," and you'll hear me that live talking to Cameron say, "Hey, Cameron." Now that happened 1,000 years ago. Relative to where you are, you're hearing the past. For us, it's our present still. We're live talking to each other. Just you're picking it up 1,000 years into the future.
Wait, how is he picking it up 1,000 years in the future?
Because the radio waves took 1,000 years to get to wherever he is in
Yeah,
space.
so it's
so
still
based
I'm
on
just
his
listening to a
perspective,
late transmission.
no,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
live
It's
because
still-
Cameron asked me a question. I can respond live. You hearing us have this conversation, if you were to trace it back to the source, we wouldn't be there anymore. But you're hearing it.
I wouldn't be able to.
You're
ask
hearing
the
us
question,
talk
though.
live.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able
No,
to
you're
get
not in
involved.
it. You're just viewing it. You're able to see it. Maybe you can hear it, but you can't interact with it. I can't interact with the starlight and then take a piece of it and say, "Here's a
Isn't
star."
recording
It's not
something
there anymore.
Viewing the past.
Of course not. No.
Well, yeah, but that you came up with the radio idea. Mine was a physical
star, which is the
star.
same thing.
No, it's not. I'm
It's
telling.
you're just getting.
There's
you're just
nothing
getting
there,
the image
but I
late
see
as
it.
opposed to getting the audio.
Exactly.
late.
Yeah, sure. But I'm seeing something that doesn't exist anymore. I'm seeing it in its past. I'm seeing it in its past state.
I like
time viewing.
I like the idea of that.
That's
It sounds cool.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm not the first person to say
past,
this.
But you're not seeing the past. Chase,
you
anyway,
are. You're seeing it's star. You're seeing that star's past.
Stay in the chat, and I appreciate you.
I'm surprised that's hard to understand.
Do you have anything you want to say before you get off?
No. Talk about teleportation, though. Do you think that's possible? Teleporting?
Yeah. We were talking about that a little bit last episode, or 2 episodes ago.
Teleporting how?
Just in general, teleporting.
Yeah. How do you think it would work? Like,
so it's like, I think the closest
your
thing would be
cells
like
and atoms
Star
staying
Trek
together.
thing. Yeah. So they disassemble and reassemble somewhere else.
That's crazy.
So you're transmitting your atoms, right?
And then trying to rearrange them again. That's tough.
It's not easy. Yeah, that's why it hasn't been done yet.
What is that theory with atoms? It's fairly new. I forget what that's called. Something to do with atoms. How like an atom will affect another atom, even if it's
Yeah.
Well,
something that I know that may be similar to what you're saying is, so if you had 2 atoms that were like next to each other, and then you take them and you put them light years apart, and you affect one, the other will be affected similarly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is crazy. And another thing, and this is something we can talk about now or some other time. I do want to get into some YouTube shorts and get some goofs out of here. But another thing I do want to get into is I keep losing my train of thought. Teleportation and
I'm trying to think of how that would work. That's the only way I could think of. Would just be, you'd have to disassemble somebody and reassemble them, or even an item. But I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one because consciousness
have something already in the position you're
physical.
teleporting to reassemble the atoms, right?
I think you might be able to teleport things. I don't know about people. I think consciousness itself, trying to reassemble someone's consciousness on the other side, that's bizarre on its own. Because there's so much that's not physical. That's part of the human experience and what makes us who we are. Same with animals. I think we could probably teleport a box and reassemble it to be exactly the way it was, or something in a box.
Something without consciousness. You think that's the key? Is consciousness?
I think that's what makes it very difficult. I think trying to rearrange a person is a lot more difficult than rearranging a
just because they're thoughts and we have all these synapses firing, right? So that we
how do you
think and
how do you put that back together to make sure it works?
Your physical brain
with the memories intact and everything.
I don't know.
Because it's all electricity going through our head, right? It's electricity.
The whole thing just sounds way too dangerous.
It's so intense. Yeah. There's too much. There's too much to it.
I would teleport a thing. I think that's fine. And then, I think...
So consciousness and memories and stuff, because you might lose, oh, shit, I forgot how to talk, or I forgot how to eat bread. Or
that's what,
I forgot how to make soup.
People teleporting, I think that's... I don't know. I don't think that's possible.
Yeah, you're saying basically, how do you teleport consciousness?
Yeah. How do you... I can rearrange atoms, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a human being. With
my body will show up where you want it to, but...
Yeah,
but will Chase be there?
And that's what I mentioned a couple episodes ago was, so if I teleport, just like in Star Trek, beam me up, Scotty, so I beam Chase up, is that Chase now the Chase that I know, or is that Chase a version of the one I know? And the one I know is dead. As I knew him, that one is dead, and now this reassembled Chase has his consciousness and everything, and his memories.
It's just mixed up.
But it's just a new you, a different you. That one is gone and dead, and now these particles that have reassembled it's its own thing. It's new person.
Yeah,
just like with clones.
Right, as in once my brain particles and everything gets reassembled into a person, my consciousness instantly starts again.
Exactly, like with clones. If you clone me and then you shoot me in the head, my clone's still running around doing cool, dope Cameron guy shit, right?
Killing people, apparently.
Yeah.
He's a murderer.
Yeah. Well, Cameron's still doing dope shit. Well, Cameron, as we knew him, is dead. But clone Cameron's doing shit. But my consciousness, all the shit, that's gone. That's out the door.
Your experience, what makes you you.
But he's still out and about.
I agree.
But my soul, or whatever you want to say. Anyway, I appreciate the call. Always
man,
insight. Always insight. I appreciate you. You enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I enjoy these calls.
Heck yeah, man.
We enjoy them. Thank you so much. Later.
See you guys. Bye.
All right. Love that I coughed right into
teleport like on Willy Wonka. Yeah, Wonka vision. That's what I was thinking of too. That's pretty much what it is. And you even see the atoms floating above them At first, that's supposed to be like the signal. It's funny.
Schultzy.
Shit, right?
Oh, I don't know this guy.
You don't know Andrew
Oh, did you want to talk about that YouTube thing?
How are we going to get
or the
we'll do it
podcast thing?
Right?
Oh, okay.
You think that we disagree on a lot, sweetheart? Like what? Like,
let's go back.
Ladies, how are we going to get on the same page? We agree on most shit, right? You think that we disagree on a lot, sweetheart? Like what? Like what?
Like most
Really?
things.
I went to one of them women's marches and we had a lot in common. I saw those girls screaming, "Free the nipple!"
I'm like, fuck yeah.
That sounds pretty good. They were screaming, "We should be able to have sex with as many guys as we want." Yes, you should. If we get pregnant, we should be able to abort it. Hopefully. And we need to work so we can pay our half. Hallelujah. Fellas, get down here. It's happening. We've reached common ground.
It's happening.
It was unbelievable. These women were fighting for the right to become the men they've always hated. Just walking around with their shirts off, fucking whoever, not worried about the kid. I'm like, y'all feminists or fuckboys? What is this shit?
Dude.
Ladies,
that's pretty funny.
No, he's my favorite comic, and he has the best podcast out right now. Period.
Yeah. You know, I'm happy about how things have been going for women these past few years. It seems like everything's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, Hollywood's fixed up a little bit. Still
People are getting called out for their nonsense, and people are scared to do the nonsense now. And that's all it took. We just needed them to be scared enough to just not fucking do it.
Yeah. Teleport like on Willy Wonka. That's funny. What are some of the other comments, Jared? I can't see through these lights.
The star is already dead by the tone by the time we see it.
Yeah.
Stars are in the galaxy, not on the road on Earth. And what about premonitions?
Oh yeah, that fucks everything up, huh?
Let's see. Well, premonitions again would be the only reason they would work is because everything was already done. Yeah, the future is written. But yeah, that was Princess.
What if? Yeah. What
she
if?
Asks, oh
no. So please.
Do you believe in past lives? Does time traveling have any relation to past lives?
So
That's an interesting question.
It is. I wish we got to it earlier. So yeah. I don't think. I do believe in past lives to an extent, not as I think everyone else sees
I believe
them.
in them. Yeah.
I don't think that there was a Cameron and I was a king in the 1800s or whatever the fuck. I think that my consciousness or my energy was in something else prior because we know the energy is recycled, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think that it's necessarily me, and I could be like, oh shit, remember when I was a fucking caveman? Remember when I was a Mayan? Like, no, I don't think.
But do you believe some people can remember their past lives?
Maybe if on the off chance, Brittany believes in them. Maybe on the off chance that like 1 in a billion, where an energy is recycled into another human.
Yeah, because we're talking about memory, right? So there was, so these memories,
basically,
however they existed, would somehow need to be able to be accessed again by the next person using that energy. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
If 1 in a billion sounds right, but that doesn't mean that we're not all recycled, like you said, from some other. So I believe in past lives for sure.
Absolutely.
And I do believe some people can remember theirs. There was this woman, best story I've ever heard of proving that this is true. A woman, a little girl growing up, she always told her family that she was from Egypt. She saw Egyptian artifacts in a book, and she saw this she saw this structure.
Princess even said past life regression. She's like, is a real thing.
Yeah, a lot of people can, under hypnosis, claim to remember their past lives. But this little girl, she even could decipher hieroglyphs. As she got older, she ended up working at this Egyptian site where she went and told the archaeologists, if you dig here, you're going to find a garden. Yeah. If you dig here, you're going to find this. And they were there.
This is where the potted plant was.
Right.
The fucking whoop-de-woo.
So she was not only right and knew where things were that hadn't been unearthed.
A ceramic pot, right?
Yeah, well, they even found the whole garden area that she said she used to tend to.
I remember.
The room that she said she lived in.
Maybe an English girl, but nowhere near Africa. The girl didn't live anywhere near Africa.
Oh, no, it was
like in America or
Europe,
like
I think
Europe
somewhere.
or something. Yeah, nowhere near Africa. She wasn't like in fucking,
No. Yeah.
She wasn't in Cairo, like, or
she told stories even.
Kenya.
No.
Anywhere close.
And she was just a little girl when she started saying this stuff. So this woman could remember her past life.
Yeah. And there was a little boy. He remembers his past life where he was a pilot. This is a very popular one. Did you hear about this? He remembers his partner. He remembers where the fucking basic training. He remembers where he trained at. He's talking about, camp... damn it, what is it called? Help me out here.
Lehigh?
Lehigh, thank you. Oh, no, it's like Wahoo. I'm like, what the fuck's it called? Camp Lehigh. He remembered everything. He remembered his buddy. He remembered the guy he rode with. But what's Jessica Brittany saying?
So Jessica says, I've had 2 different people years apart who don't know each other both tell me the exact same past life experience for her. That they both told her what she was in a past life.
Her past life.
And they were both the same. Years apart, different people, different psychics told her who she was in a past life, and both of them told her the same thing. So that's pretty interesting.
What?
Yeah.
Curious. Let's do a test on you. And
okay.
So you used to actually do put people in hypnotic states. And stuff, right?
Yeah.
So there's this quick test we can do to see if you are not easily hypnotized, but if you're
prone to hypnosis. Some people are more prone to it than others. Yeah.
I did the test.
Susceptible, I guess.
I'm not very susceptible.
Okay.
I think you even knew that back then.
Possibly so. It's so. I mean, it's all about accepting it too. You have to be open to it. If you're not, it just isn't.
But there's also just susceptibility in general.
Oh yeah. Some people way more.
Okay, ready? I'm gonna do this test on you.
Okay.
So all right, look up look up like at the roof.
My head up. Okay.
And close your eyes.
Okay.
See how they flutter?
Uh-huh.
So people who are a little more prone to being in a hypnotic state, so they need to be able to be in that relaxed state, right? So people who aren't prone to it, let me put me on the screen here, so they can go and close their eyes, right?
Yeah.
And because what your body was doing was when you looked up, because when you're not in a normal position like this or laying down, when you're like doing something that's awkward, trying to close your eyes is hard because your body's fighting it.
Right.
It's like, no, this is a weird position.
We can't.
We don't close our eyes here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're aware here. So when they do that flutter to try and stay open, that means you're a little more susceptible. Just because they need to be able, as you know, put people in that hypnotic state where they're, lucid, or not lucid, I guess.
Okay, so when people look up and close their eyes, if they're not fluttering,
if they just can do that,
yeah.
And
what does that mean?
They're not susceptible.
Okay,
or less susceptible.
That's interesting. So how does that make sense? Because it seems like they're more easily relaxed.
It's just the ability to put somebody in a hypnotic state. So because they're not more relaxed. You're what's it called?
You said the opposite, though. You said if they're not fluttering.
It sounded like the opposite.
Yeah.
No. If they're not, no. Your flutter means that you are susceptible.
Okay,
yes.
but if you're not fluttering, wouldn't that mean you're more relaxed and easier to fall asleep?
It sounds like it would make sense, right?
That's weird.
But no, that's not the case.
Very strange.
It's not the case at all.
Right? Yeah. Because if it's fighting to keep me awake, how would I go under hypnosis? That's the hardest part of hypnosis is getting people to relax.
No, I think it's your subconscious is fighting to keep awake, just because I don't know. There's a fear there. I don't know.
It's weird.
But I just
because that was the hardest part. People letting go and just relaxing and going under. So yeah, I did. I learned hypnosis years ago, and I was practicing it. I used it to help one guy like stand up to his boss and have more self-confidence. I did it for one woman to help her sleep, and it worked. She horrible sleeper. I gave her a way of putting herself to sleep each night. I helped one person stop smoking. So the shit works. But the only time that people could really go deep under was if they were 100% trusting and relaxed and taking instruction. But they have to be completely calm. That's why kids are so hard to hypnotize because they're ADHD.
All over the place.
That is interesting. It's strange.
Yeah. Now you got me confused. It made so much sense when the guy was explaining it. I was on Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
When the guy was explaining, he's like, because
it's trying to keep
get
you
somebody
awake,
in that hypnotic state. But yeah, the fighting it is funny.
That's strange.
I guess it's the I don't know, fucking A, but that's the test.
Yeah.
That's so awesome, Jared. Never knew that. Yeah, he used to fucking do hypnosis. It was pretty wild. You put our sister in a hypnotic state for a while.
Mm-hmm. I did a bunch of friends, and when I was learning and practicing, anybody that was willing to. Not a lot of, oddly enough, people aren't willing to be hypnotized as often as you would think. Yeah, even though everyone I hypnotized afterwards, they would be like, I feel like I just slept 20 hours. I feel so good and refreshed.
Euphoric. Yeah, it's like getting choked out almost. Yeah,
well, you actually get like a deep sleep in those few minutes that you're under because of just the nature of how hypnosis works. It puts you in like this deep relaxed state.
Yeah, it's not
beautiful.
It's not like actual rest. It's just deep relaxed state where when you're all day you drink fucking 10 cups of coffee and you're worried about this, that, and the third, and it's like, oh fuck, just boom. Okay, cool. Oh shit, that was dope, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So Jessica says hers don't flutter when she looks up, so she's not susceptible. And then it says anyway, what else do we got? So I love Andrew Schultz. He's fucking hysterical, dude.
88, we're going to 90. 91, 92. Come on, Pierre.
I hate everything I'm saying.
I don't
what a
want to
sport.
just be buried.
No?
And then, and then no one gives a fuck unless you're Marilyn Monroe. Dude, we're okay comics on Netflix. Like, no one's coming by our graves.
No, I know.
We're not Jim Morrison. We're not Kurt Cobain.
Of course.
We're just guys.
I don't care if the masses come by my grave.
Oh, I don't want to be forgotten.
that's
This is a big difference between us.
Jeez, buddy.
Oh, I don't want to be forgotten at all.
I think I'm pretty...
We should get buried together.
Creepy.
Yeah, what's
We
your...
should, and
what
then
are you
people
going to do?
always
He's a
come by our
weirdo.
graves. A mausoleum.
A mausoleum.
I like the idea of a mausoleum. I like being above
Me
ground.
too.
I don't want to be eaten by bugs and shit.
Worms and shit.
And then people can come in and visit. They're just so expensive and insane. It takes up a lot of room. And
burn me, bro. Cremate the fuck out of me.
Cremate's cool, and they can turn you into necklaces now. They can turn you into rings. They can
just cremate me and be like, dude, he was dope while he was here. He's gone, so later's.
So how's that work? So you get cremated.
Yeah.
And put in an urn. Does that mean now you can't be reincarnate because your energy is stored in this little vase?
No, because that's not your energy. That was your body, which is your.
You don't think it's stored? Because memory and everything, if you're going to remember a past life, there would have to be some. I mean, the memories are stored in your physical.
Well, again, like we were saying, it's the electricity going through your brain. So it's that energy could still be intact, right? That doesn't have to be connected to your physical.
That's what
body.
I mean. Now it's trapped in an urn. You can't get out.
No. Just your physical body's trapped in the urn, not the electrical synapses. Telling your brain, oh, I remember how to eat tomato.
So those somehow float away when you die, and somehow go into what that turns into another person. Like I could see the body being eaten by worms and everything goes into the ground.
Sure.
Somebody grows vegetables and you eat. Like I could see that cycle. Sure. But once you're trapped in an urn, maybe if you believe in souls, maybe your soul leaves the body. But
Jessica says it's not because it's not your spirit.
Right, the soul. Okay.
So what is your soul or spirit? Right,
yeah,
is the question, I guess. And I have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Is the answer. Is your soul your memories and all those things, and it can detach from your physical form and be just fine, or what?
Yeah, because I would like to be reincarnated. So
Princess says it goes into the universe and your energy just gets dispersed.
So the best way of I just wish I could live forever. Honestly,
really fuck that.
Oh yeah, no, I really want to see it all. If I could be a vampire, I would just do it.
Oh, I'd do vampire shit, but I don't want to live forever. I'd like to do vampire shit. But
I would want
to jump high and
eternal life. I want to see everything. I want to see how it all turns out.
No, the beauty of life is that it's fleeting.
Yeah, right? Maybe eventually I'd feel that way, but I don't think I'd feel that way for at least 1,000 years. I'd be fine.
1,000? You'd want to be alive for 1,000 years?
I would.
Bro, 100 seems like too much. If I live to 70, I'll be like, fuck, maybe if I have a lot of kids.
But I just now feel like I'm starting to really kind of understand how things work.
That's facts.
And by the time we're dead, we're still we're like just getting there.
Not
Imagine
even. You're learning.
You get a few hundred years to really put shit together and experience everything. I would love that.
There's these scientists that say that could have happened here, could have not. We don't know, but this is fairly true. I guess you could look it up and whatever you see, but They say during the tower building of the Tower of Babylon, right? You know that story?
No.
So everybody was one like collective. Everybody lived together, and they all built this tower. And if I haven't read Bibles in fucking decades. So
this is a Bible story?
Yeah.
No,
it made it into the Old Testament.
Okay.
Yeah,
I knew Babylon.
They built the Tower of Babylon, and they're trying to build it to the heavens, right? And then, I forget who it is. Some entity, whatever, says, "What are you trying to build to the heavens?" No. You guys who used to live like 1,000 years, you can live to 120 now, max.
Okay.
Because of this fucking abomination that you're trying to build your way to the heavens.
Yeah.
No, that's not how you get in, motherfuckers.
Okay.
So what they did is, and whoever did this or whatever scientists or aliens, whatever did this, so they took away our second chromosome and they put these two things on the ends of our chromosome called
This is in the Bible, the Old Testament. They talk about chromosomes.
Babylon. No, the Babylon story is in the Old Testament. This is scientific facts.
This is something else. Okay.
This is related to the
like
Babylon
a tangent.
Story. No. Related to the Babylon story.
Okay.
Not tangential. But anyway, so they put these little things that are basically caps that say, our chromosomes that can regenerate and regrow and stuff, they're putting these caps on. So now these scientists, basically making sure that we only live to like 100, so that we could be more controlled and more easily. Because if you live fucking like 500 years,
when
like
was the Babylon story written though? I don't get it.
This is fucking forever. Old Testament.
Yeah, but they're talking about they put caps on chromosomes.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that seems
Aliens,
wild to me.
Fucking whatever it is. Right?
Yeah, but that seems crazy that they were talking about chromosomes that long ago.
Nobody was talking about chromosomes. Back then.
So what are we talking about now?
Around that time is when they believe that happened. I don't think the Tower of Babylon's even a real story.
Who's they? Scientists?
Scientists.
Okay.
They're saying around that time. But they use that story as probably the time frame as well as the lesson, right? And why? Because even in the Old Testament it says you can't grow 1,000. You can't be 1,000 years anymore because of this. That's in the Old Testament.
Wow.
But not saying we're going to take one chromosome and we're going to cap it.
So we used to be able to live to 1,000?
To like 1,000 years. Yeah. Because our bodies would regrow, or our bodies would regenerate.
Okay.
So check it out though. What they're doing now with mice is they took those caps off, and the mice are living 3 to 4 times their lifespan.
Yeah. I think we'll solve it. I think we'll be able to
immortality.
live forever.
You said in a previous episode, our lifetime we're going to solve immortality.
I think so. I think within the next 50 years we're going to crack it.
What are they saying in the chat there?
So Princess was talking earlier about the living forever. She says, I believe you live forever, just in a different form or entity. You should be part life regression. You should do part life regression to see what you've actually been through in all of your lives. Oh, past life regression. Yeah. And Jessica agrees.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I love the idea of past lives, because there are things that I feel like I know that I really don't know how I know, or concepts that I'm really comfortable with that are new.
Princess's grandma is donating herself to science. That's pretty fucking wild.
Yeah. Einstein, too. I think he did.
Did he?
Yeah.
No shit. God, if there's a brain you want to fucking work on, huh?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Back then, I don't even know if they knew what to do with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's probably in a fucking...
They just electrified it. Yeah, they didn't know what the
somewhere.
fuck they were doing. Yeah. Once you die,
they drilled holes in it to get the bats out. Yeah.
So that's like the soul stuff. And I believe you you said that. Okay, so let's watch a couple more, then we'll hit the road, Jack.
Do you remember Salvia? Dude. When people found out.
Have you ever done Salvia?
No.
Okay.
I'm scared of that kind of shit.
I did it with Melissa. And she did it legit. I got the gigs and I was laughing, and it was all fun and games.
She saw the aliens, or don't people see aliens?
That's DMT.
Okay.
But you can get there with any psychedelics. But so what she did, she took a rip out of a bong. So I took a bong rip, but there was still some left in the chamber, whatever. She fucking does hers, clears it.
Oh my God, you smoked out of a bong? That sounds crazy to me.
Yeah. And,
oh my God.
I think that's how you have to smoke.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
You just got to clear it. Yeah.
Oh. It's a hallucinogen, right? To people that don't know what this is, it's like a legal
psychedelic.
hallucinogen.
It was legal.
It's not anymore.
No, it was sold to like smoke shops.
I remember. I saw it all the time back when I was in high school.
Yeah, and so we smoked it. I just got giggly and laughy, and felt a little weird and off.
Okay.
I did it 2 times, and I didn't do enough each time. One time I was closer to being gone, but wasn't. Melissa, what happened with her is she was straight looking like through me.
Yeah.
Like and afterwards she told me that we were, so it was me and my dog Jack. And she said I had like a balloon head and there was a bunch of balloon head people like, walking around and there was like a yellow brick road. She was like explaining all this crazy shit. Yeah.
Anything to do with
and she kept saying like, where's the rah-rah-rah? I'm like, the what?
What do napkins
where's the
do?
rah-rah-rah? Type shit.
Yeah.
She's like, what's the rah-rah-rah? I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck that means. And then she saw Jack. She's like, oh, Jack. And I'm watching this whole thing happen. And she's like, oh, Jack. She's like petting him. And after she got out, about 5 minutes later, she came to and she was like, oh my God, like he showed me how to get back to like reality. Like I was lost. I was in like fucking
what?
What's it called? Dorothy.
this is nuts.
I was in
Neverland. I don't know.
I was gonna say fucking Neverland too. What's the stupid fucking Oz? I was in Oz.
There we go.
And he showed me how to follow the yellow brick road to get back to fucking reality. There's a guy. One of I'll spin it for you real quick. One of Joe Rogan's friends took Salvia and took a fat rip on a podcast. He just came out with Ari Shaffir just came out with a special Jew.
Okay.
It's very funny. Anyway, it's on YouTube for free. So he did Salvia on air, right?
Oy.
Took a fat rip, and they're like, no, that's not enough. Do more. Took a fatter rip. He said he spent about 6 months living underwater. He had a wife.
Okay.
He had a fucking whole little family. He had friends. He learned their customs.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it was about 8 minutes, his trip, but he said it felt like 6 months.
Yeah.
So when he came back, he was like, oh, shit.
Does he think that there was really something down there? Or?
So even when they handed him water, he's like, oh, this is for breathing, not drinking. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He had to, like, reacclimate.
Mm-hmm.
This shit's trippy. There's shit, I think there's other dimensions, something that are just, like, right here, and they're just, like, paper thin. And I think there is some psychedelics that can... you can access it through.
Well, we don't need to see those dimensions to live, right? As just as an animal.
But I think you've never done shrooms or any psychedelic.
I don't. Yeah, I won't mess with that stuff. It just scares me.
Because I think everybody should do it at least once.
Yeah.
Because it changes your mind. It changes your perception of reality.
Yeah.
It doesn't fuck you up or ruin your life or do anything terrible. It just shows you that, like, oh my God, everything's so frivolous. Like the shit I worry about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, life isn't frivolous. Shit still matters, but there's just a small portion that you're like, a percentage is taken away of life's seriousness, where you're like, oh fuck, look, I gotta go to work and I'm gonna make my paycheck and I gotta pay my bill on this. Like you realize how frivolous a lot of shit is. You're like, oh my God, there's a whole universe of shit happening. Like, what am I fucking caring about? Anyway. That's a topic for another day.
I think about that kind of stuff though all the time as it is. I would just be scared to get lost in some weird... I don't like messing with my brain. It's just scary to me. Joe Rogan loves this shit. He talks about it like anytime I've ever watched one of his episodes, that's all he talks about.
He always
is
finds a way to bring it in, bring it up.
Always. Yeah. And a bunch of these guys that do the DMT, they all say they all see the same alien creature that talks to them.
Did, DMT, and he said the fucking same story.
Isn't that weird?
It doesn't make sense. No, not odds. They're astronomical,
right?
But he said even people who haven't heard the story of what you see the shit, and he didn't hear any stories. When he told me the story, I'm like, oh my God, dude, that's the same story I heard from fucking Rogan. But he said he was in this room and there was all these like electrical panels and shit. He's like, but it's not like motherboards and stuff that I've ever seen. It's not even technology I can even recognize or replicate.
That's funny.
Such a trip. You know,
out that you could just get salvia from a head shop.
Yeah.
Like, head shops are supposed to be, you can buy bongs, you can buy velvet posters, but there's nothing there that can get you fucked up. But then they started selling salvia because it was somehow illegal. And it is one of the most mind-blowing psychedelics known to man.
For 10 minutes,
It's fucking unbelievably powerful.
Oh,
Ari
wow.
Shaffir did some on a podcast. And he lived an alternative life.
This is literally what I was just saying.
Yeah. He had a family, he had jobs, he had friends. And then all of a sudden, he came back to reality. He just went into this place and lived another life. Do you remember Salvia? When people found
crazy.
I know how to stand up to
Yeah,
a man
we've had dreams like that because you and I
unfolding.
have talked about it before. Having dreams where you wake up and this whole life that you lived in that dream is now over and you have to come back to this other life, and at first it's kind of hard. You're like, whoa.
It was. I still miss my wife, Scarlett Johansson.
Mm-hmm.
You had the same fucking dream, which is crazy.
It
Not
is
the same
kind of
dream,
weird,
but the same woman.
Yeah, I wonder
you were
what
married to.
I wonder what that was, because it was
watching
also
Marvel
around the same
movies, who knows?
time.
Yeah. I don't know.
Right? It was around the same time.
Yeah. You were like, a little bit after me. You told me about it at least a little bit after.
Yeah.
After my experience.
No, I'm pretty sure we had it around the same time. Because just when I told you about it, when you told me when yours was, it was around the same time.
Yeah, I even said before you finished yours, I said I had the same with Scarlett Johansson, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and so that's not the first time I've had the same dream as somebody else either. Which is so weird. What are dreams? How do they work? And how could this be possible? And this will be the last story I'll tell you. We can do the videos again, but real quick. So when I was in 5th grade, I had a dream that me and my little clique of 5th grade friends, there's probably like 8 of us, went to the movies together. We sat down, bullshitted, never actually watched a movie, but I remember what the theater looked like. I remember the seats we were in. I remember the food we were eating, what we were talking about. We go in, we go out, bullshitting, little elementary school kid stuff, right?
Sure. The
next day, I see this girl, Krisha, that's in my class. She's one part of our little friend clique.
I remember her.
And she says, oh, you were in my dream last night. And I was like, that's so funny. You were in my dream last night. She goes, really?
You told me this.
And I was like, what's the dream? And she goes, oh, we went to the movies. I was like, that's so funny. I had the same dream and you were in it. We went to the movie. I was like, what did the movie look like? Or movie theater look like, just to see. She started describing it exactly, the color of the curtains, the color of the seats, how the screen looked, and who was with us, what we were wearing even. Everything down to the last detail. We had the exact same dream, the same night even. So what the hell is that?
Yeah.
Fucking strange.
What does Princess say? It would be a trip to watch Jared on mushrooms. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Having similar dream. I remember I had one dream. It was so depressing. Because that Scarlett Johansson one, we had a whole life together. We were in love.
I know what you mean.
And then I woke up and I'm like, you know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
I woke up. I'm like, oh, she doesn't even know who the fuck I am.
Right. How weird is that? We've never met.
We've never even met.
I've never seen
her.
her.
I had a whole life with this woman, and we were in love. So I remember I had this one dream with this one girl I worked with, and she was married. And I had a crush on her anyway. No big deal. It was a little crush, but I knew she was married, so I knew off limits. No need going there. I had a dream with her, and in the dream, like she was never married or whatever, so that wasn't even like a conversation. Whenever we were together, and I was saying to but it's not like I took her from.
I know, yeah, it'd be a weird dream.
Yeah, right. I'm an asshole.
All that backstory.
Yeah. But that's the truth. But that wasn't in the dream. So it was just us. And I remember, I don't know, this just always stuck out to me. So we were just so happy and so in love. And she looks over at me and she says, is it always like this? Like, is like love always this like grand and amazing? And I remember in my dream, I said to her, I remember thinking, oh, I'm going to say this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's always like this. To fuck with her?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, no, this is 1 in a billion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, it's never like this. And then, like, we kissed. And I remember that. And I'm like I was just teasing her, right?
Yeah.
And, like, and then I woke up. I'm like, oh, yeah, she's married.
Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to go to work.
Joe's.
Yeah. So I'm going to go to work and just see her and be like,
oh, that's weird.
We had a whole life.
Yeah, dreams are fucking weird.
Dude, they're fucked up. I had a crazy one last night, but I won't even get into it because it's long.
Yeah,
but
maybe we'll do an episode about dream or a segment.
That's a great idea. Yeah. So you don't know who either of these gentlemen are, do you?
No.
Okay. Where to begin? They're both very controversial figures.
Okay.
So this gentleman on the top, his name is Andrew Tate. He's actually in jail right now for sex trafficking.
Garbage.
So not the greatest guy. I know Princess's son watches him a lot.
One of the worst things you can
I know, but here's the thing: so he was a really skilled kickboxer.
Okay.
And he's a very good talker, and so he's just one of those polarizing figures where, for some reason, young men fucking love listening.
People
to this
like
guy.
him even after the sex trafficking.
Adore him.
Okay.
Well, this sex trafficking thing just happened.
Oh.
But he's always said like, women, they're here for my pleasure, for me.
Okay, so he's like one of those.
Yeah.
Those women hating psychos. I hate those guys.
Yes. And this girl I was dating actually watched one of my episodes, and I said, Andrew Tate, he's a polarizing figure. I'm not going to get into it. But some people would call him a misogynist. Dude, she went off on me for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
some people would call him a misogynist.
Yeah.
He is, with that, what he is damaging, the thing he's doing to women and how damaging he is. She's like, you would fucking, and I'm like, babe, I'm just not trying to take
saying
sides.
shit like that though, like what he said, I mean, is
absolutely. But I said, I'm just not trying to be polarizing or take sides. I don't want it to be a political fucking thing.
Well, I think you can safely take the side against a sex trafficker.
It was her point.
Right.
Is what the fuck, if you have a platform at all, and you're going to be too scared to fucking call some. Yeah. But Princess's son really likes him, so I didn't want to talk too much shit on him. But and then the guy on the bottom, he's similar in a lot of ways. He also believes women are second-class citizens.
Wow.
He has a beautiful
How is
daughter.
this still happening?
There's
entire strange. Countries where they're not even allowed to drive or anything. So it's still
nuts.
happening.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it's happening here.
Yeah, but
Gross.
Dude, I was hate watching one of Andrew Tate's videos where they were interviewing him because it was a smaller podcast interviewing him. I'm like, how the fuck did they get Andrew Tate? Anyway, so they're interviewing him, and I couldn't turn it off because he's very. I had to at one point. I was like, never mind. But he's very, dude. He can talk, and everything he was saying was pissing me off so much. It was like Howard Stern. What do Howard Stern lovers say? They want to see what he says next. What do Howard Stern haters say? They keep watching because they want to see what he has to say
more
next.
is what it was.
Yeah, and that's like with this guy.
Okay.
And then Jordan Peterson, I did the impression of him the other time. I started doing an impression of him.
That's his voice?
I think they're going to do it side by side.
That's why
with
he
these
hates
two.
women. They hate him.
That's him.
We
Listen.
talk, we argue, we push, and then it becomes physical.
You will have an argument different with a 7-foot tall man than you would a 5-foot tall man. Whether it's subconscious or not, you will talk to him differently and your body language will be different because you understand if you disagree too much.
When men are talking to each other, that underlying threat of physicality is always there and keeps the thing civilized. If we move beyond the boundaries of civil discourse, we know what the next step is.
It is the bottom line, it is the underpinning of possible violence that makes you...
I don't talk to a man or a woman differently than I would a man because I'm like, oh, I could beat the shit out of her, but I can't beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to in the back of your mind to be thinking.
No.
Like, oh, this guy's really big. He could beat my ass, so I better talk to him differently.
Yeah, let me show him respect. No. You earn my respect.
Right.
I don't care if you're a man, woman,
That's
child.
so weird.
You earn my respect.
Yeah.
You're not, oh, he's 7 foot tall. So, yes, sir, what would you like? Fuck you.
Yeah, that's
You're
weird.
a piece of shit until you're not a piece. No, actually, with me, it's the opposite. You're the fucking coolest, dopest motherfucker I've ever met until you're not.
Yeah.
Prove to me that you're a piece of shit, and then you're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I'm similar that way.
Yeah, but...
Gets me into trouble.
I was just going to say, it gets me into a lot of trouble because... For 2 reasons, both sides of the token. One, people were like, I don't fucking know you. Why are you acting like you're my homie? Like, you can't, like,
that's
you're joking with me? Thing. Like you're my boy and shit? We're not homies, bro. I don't fucking know you. Okay, Doc, my bad, bro.
That's interesting.
I was bullshitting. You're my boy because you are until you're not.
Right.
Right? Until you do something, then fuck you. But so I've had it that, and I've had the opposite where it's like, what's the opposite of what I'm saying? Is too close, and then it's like we're we're homies, and it's like no, fuck you. I don't know. I'm saying the same thing. Anyway,
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I always give people the benefit of the doubt. I always think that people are generally good, and that generally people will do right by me.
Sure.
If I'm doing right by them, and then once I realize that that's not what they want to do, then sometimes it's too late. But
wait,
I think I'm trusting.
What they want to do? What do you mean?
When they prove me wrong, when they show me that they're actually not trustworthy, or they show me that they don't have my best,
intentions. Yeah.
They don't have my best in mind, right? Yeah. So I give people the benefit of the doubt usually when I first meet people. I think, okay, this person, generally I think people are going to do the right thing.
Yeah. Try to. So anyway, the worst.
Try and avoid the violence. The reason war eventually happens is 2 governments disagree to the point where discourse breaks down. The only reason discourse is even respected in the first place is because you understand that country has an army. If that country had no army at all, you'd say get fucked and just ignore them completely.
If you're talking to a man who wouldn't bite with you under any circumstances, then you're talking to someone to whom you have absolutely no respect.
That's the reality. Tell the world we're
I know how to stand up to a man who
Yeah,
is
these guys are the
unfairly
worst.
trespassing against me. We talk, we argue, we push, and then it becomes physical.
I'm sure Jordan fucking
I
Peterson.
know, this guy's such a
and
tough
then
guy.
it becomes physical.
Yeah.
And then you get your ass whooped, you fucking
After
goof.
I'm done kicking everyone's ass in the room, I really demand respect.
Yeah. So that's, yeah.
Oh, you're not recording yet? Okay. I'll wait.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me get back into character.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a real tough guy.
Him and Andrew Tate are the same person.
Yeah, that would be great.
He just like fucking takes off his wig and puts on a little mustache. He's like,
It's Brian Koberger.
I don't know who that is.
No, never mind.
Who's that?
The killer from Idaho, the Idaho 4.
Oh, nice.
Because he's the same.
Got
He's
it.
a total women hating, like, incel.
Is he one of those? So,
Yeah.
dude, it's those incels. It's called the manosphere. If you're in that whole Andrew Tate, fucking Jordan Peterson thing,
Really?
it's called the manosphere.
Yeah, I can't believe that's a thing.
Yeah. No, he hasn't really watched him since old. Okay, so Princess's kid isn't watching since sex trafficking thing. So good, that's good because Carlos is a good kid. Now I want him to not listen to people that are
Understood.
detrimental. But man, I should have had coffee before this broadcast.
Hey, it's okay.
We all get one, right?
We did time travel. That's fun.
We did. But all right, I said we wrap her up. So it's almost 2 hours to the minute, to the second. So beautiful. All right, Jared, we appreciate you as always.
Yep.
Always
Happy
a
to be here.
pleasure. I'm glad you are here. And ladies and gentlemen, we always appreciate you, everybody in the chat. You guys are fucking rock stars. You are the best. We love you. We appreciate you. This has been episode 15 of the podcast Never Sleeps.
Yeah.
And please make sure you hit like right now. I'm not going to turn this broadcast off until you fucking hit like.
He won't
right
do
now.
it. He won't do it.
And I know when you do it.
Okay, there it goes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I just saw it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So,
wait. That one? Okay.
There she is. All right. And then, yeah, so, amazing. Thank you. You're so very sweet. So, thank you guys. Love you so much. You're the best. Like, subscribe, comment. It's your boy. And it's Jared. And we love you.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Much
Laters.
love. Clear. Nice.